Hey yo, welcome back to the Agostinho Zinga show with your host, Agostinho Zinga, and this is episode number 9078. What am I talking about? Eights. We're not in the eights, we're in the nines, we're in nuevos. 07. What's happening, people? What's happening? How you doing? How you feeling? Good. Great to see, great to hear, great to see, great to hear, great to see, great to hear. Thank you for joining me. So today's going to be a pretty interesting stream that I got for you today. Pretty interesting podcast, pretty interesting piece of content, because it's the first Tazs show that I've done in about, 5 days, I think? About 5 days, maybe? 9 days, maybe 9 days, which has been a bit long, but I've been on this marathon thing with the flipping random show. I've been giving the random channel a little bit too much love. I've fallen off the flipping horse a couple of times. I'm going to restart the horse again. No, I'm going to jump back on the horse again later on today. But I thought I'll give Tazs channel a bit of love because I have been deserting it, and I have been deserting some of my day one podcast listeners, because before random show came about, Tazs was the only place to get content para mí. Okay? Content para mí, sorry. Content, no, para mí? Para mí, for me? Content, whatever, you know what I mean. Content from me you only got on here. So I'm back and I'm ready to flipping rock. Where have I been, you ask? Where have I been? Not gonna lie, as much as I wish I could say I was out somewhere doing a bunch of multivitamins and getting fucking Larry and really going for it, as much as I wish I was that guy, as much as I wish I could be that person right now, unfortunately I wasn't. Unfortunately I was out for the count. Unfortunately I was kind of ill. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of ill. These allergies have been kicking my ass, plus the flipping asthma and shit has been really hurting me during this flipping high pollen season. Luckily I've got a appointment with the GP in a couple of weeks. Actually in a couple of weeks I've got an appointment with the GP, my kind of yearly sort of like GP appointment where I sort of like check up on my asthma, because unfortunately I've got sports related asthma, which is kind of mad, right? Because I've run half marathons, I played football all the time, I used to skateboard a bunch. You know, I'm always out here running and gunning. I'm always jumping up and down, whether I'm jacked up off vitamins or I'm jacked up off of life itself. So for me to have asthma, it's kind of mad. It's kind of mad, but man them know, if you see me outside, you know I'm always carrying that blue pump. Back in the day, I had to carry a brown pump. That's not really bad, you know. I was really bad because back in the day, I had the brown thing. Back in the day, but now I only have the blue thing. So thank God, innit? Thank God for like curing me and healing me. So I don't need the brown thing anymore. I only got the blue thing. But I got to take that all the time, so I got to get that filled up. I'm on the fucking anti-allergy tablets. I'm taking like 2 of those a day, right? Two anti-allergy tablets a day. Plus, I'm gonna get this thing sorted out. And that flipping asthma test that I do is really kind of humbling. I'm not gonna lie, because the asthma test, I remember when I did it one last time, it kind of traumatized me. They make you blow into like a toilet roll, like a bit of a toilet roll, like a cardboard roll, right? And on the cardboard roll, there's like this arrow. There's like a little plastic arrow. And I guess when you blow into it, the plastic arrow will kind of go up to a certain level. So they can kind of see how much cardiovascular capabilities you have or something. I forgot what it is. But I remember when I did it, I went, like I could feel myself heaving, because I've never blown, you know what I mean? Despite the many rumors out there about me, and my sexual activities and whatnot, and my sexual orientation, I've never actually blown. You hear me? So when you blow in that tube, it kind of shows you what your levels are like. And I remember mine being super low. That's like blowing, and it wasn't the arrow wasn't even going up that far. And I remember that was a real humbler. I think that's when I had that's when I got the brown asthma pump. So they gave me the brown asthma pump to kind of help me that time. I think that's a stronger one, right? And then after that, I was pretty fine, and I kind of weaned off of it, and I got the blue one. So now I'm good. But this summer's been a bit tough, I'm not going to lie. So I was out on my ass for like 3 days. But you know me, man, don't talk about these things out loud in public and that, because, you know what I mean? I'm a thug. THUG, all caps, you get me? Man, not crying, asking for sympathy or anything. But if you do feel bad for me, if you do feel sympathetic to me, if you do feel empathetic to me, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, join and become a member, all right? Because I'm also doing a marathon on here. So we're starting day 1 on here, and we're also starting day 1 on the random show. Day 1 on here will be kind of unofficial. There won't be any markings on the flipping title, because I want to keep the Tazs show nice and clean. I like the titles how they are. But we're going to be starting day 1 of this flipping marathon on here. today, and we're also starting day one again later on when I finish this on the random show. So if you feel bad for me and you want to give me some love, join and become a member of this channel, subscribe, like, and share. That's all I ask. Okay, that's all I ask. But yeah, I've been out for 3 days, but I'm back on the track, ready to rock, and I'm so happy to be with you here today. I'm so happy. So wherever you may be, all around the world, all over the country, all over the city, thank you for joining me. This is the Agostino Zinga Show, the #1 cultural commentary podcast in the world. None other come close to the level of, to the type of subjects I cover, to the breadth of subjects I cover, to the depths of which I go into those subjects, and the non-stop entertainment. So if you like what you see what you like, give me some loving, 5-star review at the end of the show, a like when you're watching it, subscribing to the channel, or maybe join in, become a member, or clicking the links in the description, join the Patreon, all that good shit will be much appreciated. Let's crack on with the show. Let's crack on with the show. So I did something kind of cool today, or the other day actually, I think so anyway, because I was actually contemplating, I was in two minds as to whether or not I should go out and purchase a brand new pair of headphones for my workouts and shit, right? Because at the moment I'm using my noise cancelling headphones. I've got a pair of like Sony MX, I think I've got Mark 3s, those kind of over the head noise cancelling headphones. I've got Mark 3s. They're you know, they're not brand new. I bought them second hand. I think one of the straps was burst, so I just wrapped it in fucking electrical wire, and it's been pretty solid to me. I replaced the ear cup, so it's all well and good and shit. So I've been using those, and those are flipping bulletproof. I fucking love those. A new pair has actually come out the other day, I think of Mark 5. But I want a new pair of I'm okay, I don't need to replace my over-the-head ones just yet, but I want a new pair of in-ear ones for when I'm working out and shit, right? Bluetooth ones. So I was looking around and I saw, oh shit, I just remembered I saw a review. I remember MKBHD posted it, of these new Beats Powerbeats Pro 2s. Now I've got the original Powerbeats Pros, and those are my favorite headphones ever. And these ones, allegedly, these new ones, these Powerbeats 2s, have noise cancelling. So the ones I have already were quite good, but these have noise cancelling technology, so fucking amazing. So I was thinking about getting them, but then I looked at the price, $249, $2499, $250, absolutely crazy. So I thought, you know what? Instead of going straight away and getting these, it's not super necessary. Why don't I try and do a thing with my Powerbeats Pros that I kind of live by and swear by, right? So I decided to just go and buy some new foam ear tips instead for my Powerbeats Pros, right? These are the ones, right? You know these, you know the Powerbeats Pros, right? Legendary pair of headphones, absolutely bulletproof. They came out a while back ago. I've kind of had, I'm not gonna lie, I think since these dropped, I think I've had like seven. I think I've had like 5 pairs, let's say. I think I've had 5 pairs of these. I'm not going to lie. I think I've had 5 pairs of these headphones since they dropped. 5 flipping pairs. So I decided, instead of going and buying a new set, why don't I just replace the ear tips of mine? So I went out and bought some new foam ear tips for my Powerbeats Pros, right? I've got some nice contrasting lime green ones there. I'm sure once I start using them every day, they won't be lime green anymore. They'll probably turn brown due to all the muck in my flipping ears and shit, right? And all this fucking tanning I do and all that malarkey. And now they work pretty well. They work really good. And obviously with foam ear tips, I usually wear them because my ears are weird and small and shit, so it kind of helps to get, you know, to kind of stay in my ears. But I've also found if you actually will use them correctly and you kind of pinch the end of the foam ear tip before you put them into your ear, and then you put them into your ear quickly before they expand, they obviously expand and seal up any of the air that's around it. So they're not, although it's not noise cancelling, it's close enough. It does a good job of getting most of the noise out. So for anybody that's out there who's contemplating buying a new pair of headphones to work out with, #1, I swear by these, because of this little, a lot of people laugh at me because they look like hearing aids, you know. Apologies to all my hearing impaired people out there. By the way, if you're hearing impaired, I recommend you check out this TV series called Code of Silence. I think it might be on BBC. It's about this deaf girl that becomes like a informant for the police. Incredible show, honestly, incredible. I know it sounds a bit naff, but it's honestly so fucking good. She's a deaf girl, but she can read lips, right? So they end up kind of getting her involved to kind of help out with some crime thing, and obviously it goes north and it kind of, you know, it goes south, sorry, and it kind of tells that story. So if you're hearing impaired, check out Code of Silence. Absolutely amazing. But a lot of people would criticize me or mock me or laugh at me because these kind of look like hearing aids. They're a little bit, you know, they're a little bit on the dorky, geeky looking side. But if you actually work out, if you actually sweat, if you actually do workouts, you know, you're just not on the fucking elliptical whatever doing nonsense. If you're actually fucking doing cleaning jerks, you're doing overhead presses, you're doing back squats, you're doing fucking bench presses, you're doing pull-ups, you're doing burpees, you're doing shuttle runs, right? You're actually doing movements and running around and shit and jumping. I swear to God, these are the only headphones you need. Even my over the head ones I have, they're good, but they kind of run around. You have to put my head up. These have never dropped out of my ears. Never dropped out of my ears. I fucking love these. I swear by them. I swear by them entirely. These are the only headphones I wear when I work out. And obviously, for a man like me who's got like earrings and shit, I don't like taking out my earrings all the time because I'm scared if I leave them out too long, the hole will seal up. And also unfortunately, I'm one of those guys that goes to the gym with my earrings in anyway, just for the swag of it. I recommend you check out these headphones because obviously with these headphones or earphones, sorry, you can wear your earrings and shit and everything is perfectly fine. But I recommend if you're struggling for a pair and you think you want a noise cancelling pair ones like the Powerbeats Pros, don't. Just get yourself these foam ear tips. I bought a pack of them from Amazon. I think it might be like £8, £10. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's like £8, £10 for a box. So big up everybody that subscribes to the channel. Big up everybody that sent like a super chat and shit. Man just uses that for all that sort of stuff. As you can see, I've got a new pair of in-ear monitors as well for the pod that I'm using too. All of those fucking shekels go to fucking equipment and shit. So big up everybody that watches and supports the show. But I went and bought a pair of foam ear tips for these. And now, I swear to God, these headphones are close enough to noise cancelling. Close enough. I still eventually will get these Powerbeats Pros. I'm not going to lie. I will eventually still get them. But one thing I'm annoyed by these new Powerbeats Pros is that I think the marquee colorway, because I remember seeing MKBHD review them, the marquee colorway is this orange one. And I think the orange one looks fucking shit. Not going to lie. So, because I don't want to get black. If I do eventually get them, I don't want to get black because the blacks looks too similar to mine. I don't want to get fucking this grey color because I'm not a Skims model. And I don't want to get this blue thing or whatever, this purple thing, because, you know, it just looks a bit naff. But the marquee color is also orange. I don't know which one, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I might just have to go get the black one just to kind of keep some continuity in terms of the gadgets I've got and shit. But the colors are kind of shit. And that price is mad, isn't it? That price is mad. $250 for fucking workout headphones is like crazy. Because I think when I'm cycling and shit, I usually wear my over the head headphones, right? My noise cancelling one, which is, I don't know what they are. They're over there. There they are. I'll show you what I'm talking about, right? So I've got these. These are pretty old. What mark is this? I think this is I think these are the. What are they? I think I've got the. I think they're the Mark 5s or Mark 3s. I think they're the Mark 3s. Let's see what Sony have. Yeah, I've got these. These are the WH1000 XM3. Right? These are the XM3s. So these are the Sony headphones that I wear day to day. The noise cancelling ones. I bought them second hand. The strap here was broken. So I just wrapped it with electrical tape, nothing too crazy, and they still kind of click on, minor thing. And I replaced the ear cups because these were a bit rancid. So I replaced them, and now they're fucking perfect. They're like basically noise cancelling headphones. But these are the Mark 3s. There's a new pair's already come out, but I pretty like these. And also you can fold them well as well. Right? You can fold them nicely to put in a bag and shit, all well and good in it. But I don't like wearing these all the time in the gym. Number one, I sweat so much. My head sweats like crazy. And I'm already wearing a headband. I've got this fucking hair. It's just too much. So I wanted to go back to wearing these back in the gym. But they're also letting in too much noise. And I go to a fucking Pure gym. And I'm sure you guys know Pure gyms like the fucking volume of that Pure gym is fucking crazy, bro. They have the volume up super high on their shitty fucking stereo. So you have to kind of block out all the noise. So I have to get these done. So happy I've got them. Happy I've got them. Big up everybody out there with the headphones. Big up everybody out there with the headphones. Moving on. I saw this story on the timeline and I thought to myself, you know what? This is absolutely wild. But also shout out to the guy. Shout out to the guy. So I'm sure some of you guys have probably seen it yourselves. So forgive me if this is old news, but I've just seen this. This is quote of the Washington Post. Crypto investor tortured man for weeks for Bitcoin password, prosecutors say. Tortured him for weeks. Crazy. A New York crypto investor kidnapped a 28-year-old man, tortured him for weeks in a ritzy 8-bedroom townhouse by electrocuting him with wires, beating him with a gun, and forcing him to smoke cocaine to extort cryptocurrency from him, prosecutors and police say. It's funny, that last line, because I was talking to someone about this the other day, about the whole like cocaine smoking thing. I think it's something that's big in the Mediterranean. I don't think it's big over here. But I remember back in the day, that was a thing. People would like buy cigarettes, and if you had like if you were like on a session somewhere, right, having your fun with your friends, doing your adult multivitamins, whatever that was left on the plate or in the mirror, someone would take a cigarette and they'd kind of lick one line, and then they'd kind of roll. No, they lick the cigarette and then roll it in the coke that's on the plate, or they'd slide it along it so you kind of get that bar and then smoke it, which kind of sounds like you're smoking crack. I've never done it personally because, you know, that's a little bit too much for me. But I've heard from people that it's kind of wild that people do that sort of stuff, and the effects are pretty gnarly. I'm not advocating for it, but it's funny that they say that because I remember that being a big thing back in the day for afters. When, like, you know, you're running low on stuff, instead of sniffing the last stuff, you just roll it in a cigarette and then start smoking it. So pretty wild. Authorities arrested John Waltz, 37, and charged him on Sunday with kidnapping, assault, unlawful imprisonment, and criminal possession of a firearm, according to Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Court records allege Waltz kidnapped his victim by luring him to the promise of returning Bitcoin that Waltz had already extorted from him, before seizing the victim's passport, electrical devices on May 6. Waltz and a person described in court records as an unapprehended accomplice allegedly threatened to kill his family if he did not provide a password for Waltz access to family's Bitcoin. You know what's wild about this, right? I remember there was a story, and it's kind of 60 people fighting back. Big up everyone, big up everybody fighting back. Big up civilians, big up regular civilians fighting back against this sort of shit. Because you're seeing in the UK, you're seeing people in the UK who've I guess been previously been victims of like those kids that go on e-bikes and steal people's phones, right? You've seen those very same people who are victims of that kind of theft are now kind of stepping up and becoming vigilantes and stopping other crooks, other thieves from doing the same thing. So you see regular civilians, pedestrians and shit, tourists running after these kids on these e-bikes, stopping them and shit. It's pretty sick to see, I'm not gonna lie. I remember I actually saw one the other day of some guy in Spain, I think a Chinese dude in Spain, got some guy in the fucking guillotine or something, right? No, I think you're in a rear naked choke. Wait for the police to come. I saw another guy in the UK clothesline some e-bike rider. And then I'm going back to this crypto thing. I remember seeing a guy in, I think, Paris, who they were trying to abduct into a van, actually. A big crypto millionaire guy. They were trying to abduct him, and he fought for his fucking life. And he managed to like make enough noise and scream that the kidnappers left. So it's kind of sick to see these people doing it, but they're only doing it because the police aren't helping, you know? So you're having to kind of step up and help yourself, because the police probably don't take these kind of threats to these crypto investors seriously. You know, police kind of have to wait until you get kidnapped before they can help you. So it's kind of wild. The man escaped and was bloodied and shoeless when he flagged down officers on the street and reported Waltz to authorities, the district attorney office said in an email in Washington Post. Prosecutors say that Waltz is originally from Kentucky and deemed him a flight risk as he was a private jet and a helicopter. He's being held without bail. Wayne Gozell, an attorney for Waltz, declined to comment. Waltz and a male accomplice had previously forced a man that they kidnapped to send them Bitcoin by threatening to have his family killed, prosecutors say. Waltz and his accomplice allegedly told the man to come to New York to get his cryptocurrency back, then kidnapped him. Maybe it's different depending on what type of level of celebrity you are, but I've never understood how people take online threats that seriously. I'm not gonna lie. I really never understood how people take like online threats like that seriously. Or I'm gonna kill your family. Really? Really? Are you though? Are ya? Don't get me wrong, 1 in 1,000 threats might be legit, but you still have to do it, you know? And I'm not gonna be scared until you do it. Like that kind of thing. It doesn't really make any sense, but I guess at that kind of level, you're probably super power anyway, so maybe anything someone says to you is going to throw you off your shit. Prosecutors did not state the amount of Bitcoin that Waltz was allegedly demanded. The alleged victim was a 20-year-old man who arrived in New York from Italy in early May, according to Associated Press. Waltz and his accomplice held the man, bound his wrist in the upscale townhouse where they both lived, according to the prosecutors, over the next 3 weeks. The duo allegedly tortured the man, urinated on him, and held him over the ledge of a flight of stairs while threatening to kill him. I'm not gonna lie, I'm also holding out. Oh, you're gonna piss on me? Really? You're gonna hit me? You're gonna beat me a few times? You're gonna electrocute me a few times? Like, come, you gotta do more than that to get me to give up my fucking money. especially in this economy, especially if you're a crypto billionaire, like a millionaire in general. A lot of these crypto people, from what I've seen anyway, or in general anyway, I'd imagine are people who probably would have never amassed that kind of wealth without crypto. So they basically you know, their entire wealth, their entire livelihood that they have now is because of crypto. They're not going to give that shit up lightly. Some of these guys got it early and they've just, you know, become millionaires just through default of holding for so long. Some of them have been quite savvy investors. But either way, considering how they live, considering what how hard they've worked for their money, they are really unlikely to give it up that easily. You have to start cutting off limbs. You have to go that far. You have to maybe abduct or kidnap another family member. And even that won't get me to give it up. You know what I mean? Some people in some families are expendable. You get me? No shots fired. I'm not naming any names. Some people are expendable. You get me? But you have to do more than piss on me to get me to give you my fucking pass key or my passphrase and shit. Like, I'm not going to give it up that easily. Come on, bro. The victim was held in a luxury 6-story Prince Street townhouse, known for loud partying, according to neighbors who spoke to the NBC. So that's actually a smart move. They kidnapped him in a place where there's a lot of loud music. So if they did put up the music to kind of muffle the screams, nobody would be none the wiser. After allegedly being pistol whipped by Waltz and believing that he would soon be shot, the victim feigned capitulation and told his captors that he had given him his Bitcoin password. When Waltz went to retrieve the man's laptop from another room, the victim fled down the stairs. Honestly, kidnappers, man, criminals nowadays aren't what they used to be, innit? You got that story of all those prisoners escaping from that prison somewhere in America. I forgot where it was. I think New Orleans somewhere. And I think all of them, I think there's like 11 or 10 of them. And I think they've all been found with the exception of one. With the exception of one guy, they've all been found. And they've all been found in the local area. One of them was found sleeping on a bench. One of them was found, a couple of them were found walking around the fucking district where everyone goes and drinks and shit. And if I'm not mistaken, most of them as well, their parents or family members have also been prosecuted or are being prosecuted because they found evidence that the family members are helping them with their escape by sending them money and shit. So criminals aren't what they used to be, you know? They escape from prison, probably one of the hardest things to do, and then you escape and you have no plan as to how you're going to evade capture. Similar with this thing. You kidnapped a crypto investor and you have no, you know, sense in you. The laptop that you want him to input his details on is on the other room. Huh? So you have to, like, come, he's not tied up. Huh? The victim ran outside and immediately flagged down a traffic agent who then called 911. The victim was bloodied and had no shoes on. Prosecutors wrote in a bail application shared with the Post. The victim was brought to the hospital traumatized and with lacerations on his face, injury to his wrist, consistent with being bound, and various other injuries to his head and body. Police searched the townhouse and recovered a saw, cocaine, chicken wire, body armor, night vision goggles, ballistic helmets, firearm ammunition. According to prosecutors, they also allegedly found Polaroid photos of the kidnapped man with a gun held to his head, t-shirts wrapped with photos of his kidnapped man with a cocaine pipe in his mouth. Bro, that's not going to do enough, man. You can't make me smoke coke. You can't make me smoke crack and think I'm going to give you my password. I'll probably be too high to do anything at that point. Come on, you got to do more. You have to remove limbs, bro. You have to, or you have to, like, you know, do the whole, like, I guess they don't want to do the whole shooting in your kneecap leg thing because you might hit artery and he might just completely bleed out. But you have to inflict some actual real harm, some real pain. You can't just be saying things and punch a man up. And plus, these are like nerds, innit? Like, the guy probably hitting him is a nerd too. Probably doesn't hit that hard. Like, good, well done to the dude anyway. But you know, criminals are a bit weak nowadays. Waltz faced up to life in prison for felony kidnapping. Excuse me? American laws are weird, innit? You can go to prison for life for kidnapping. Waltz faced up to life in prison for felony kidnapping charge. He pleaded not guilty of charges due to. That is insane, innit? You can go to prison for life for kidnapping somebody. God almighty. But people sometimes get like numbers in terms of murder. You kill someone in cold blood, depending on what lawyer you get, you could actually get off with some good time. Not good time, but you might not spend life in prison. You may spend 30, 40, 50 years, but not life. Fucking hell. So big up that guy. Well done for him for holding out. And another update on it as well. Second suspect arrested. Look at one of the kidnappers. Look at him. William Duplessis. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy, William Duplessis. A second suspect has been arrested for allegedly kidnapping and torturing an Italian tourist. William Duplessis turned himself into authorities. Well, he didn't get captured, is it? He did, yeah. I guess he got technically arrested, but he handed himself in. Let's relax a little bit. The alleged victim told police that he was hung off a roof ledge, shocked with electrical wires, and attacked with a chainsaw. Both suspects are charged with kidnapping with intent to collect ransom, assault, and unlawful imprisonment. The arrest came after the victim managed to escape the home in Soho, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in New York, where he was allegedly tortured, bound for 3 weeks. That's the thing, innit? That's why I think rich people and poor people have so much in common, especially me growing up in a somewhat poor family for a long period of my life, and now having to, being in certain rooms and being in certain places where people have a lot more money and, wealth and whatever it may be. You realize there's a lot of similarities on either, which happens, isn't it? I think at the extreme ends of the scale, they always have way more in common. So I think if you go to a hood, or if you go to ends like we have in London, and you just look at a tower block, or you look at some flats or an allotment and shit, or whatever, or some bungalows, you have no idea what's going on behind those clothes. There's probably a madness going on in any time of day, any day of the week you go. There's probably a madness going in one of those fucking flats, buildings, in one door. Behind one door, there's some sort of madness going on. Same goes on with the flipping rich neighborhoods. Behind those gates, behind that security, behind that fucking well-trimmed, fancy fucking hedge, whatever, in front of the houses and shit, with the immaculate cut lawns, there's so much madness going on behind those closed doors. That's probably why they do so many TV series about like those places, right? There's that recent one that just came out by starring John Hamm. Your Neighbor's Friends or Friends of Neighbors, whatever the fucking title was. It's fucking a really good series, by the way. Little Fires Everywhere is a good one. Like, there's loads of those type of series about like, what goes on behind, closed doors in these rich neighborhoods, because they're just the same as poor neighborhoods. There's so much shady, seedy, dark shit happening. So who would have known in this fucking upscale neighborhood somewhere in New York that some guy was getting tortured, nearly close to probably dying behind these closed doors for his Bitcoin? Fucking crazy. Mr. Waltz is a crypto investor from Kentucky, has been renting the Soho house where he assaults occurred between $30,000 to $40,000 per month. Rata, he's got money himself, innit? Usually kidnappers are kind of broke and putting you in fucking disused warehouse. This guy rented a place that cost $30,000 to $40,000 per month. Police arrested another woman on Friday, but prosecutors have declined to press charges. The alleged victim told police he came to New York from Italy on May 6th. That upon arriving, suspect households took his passport and allegedly held him captive until he escaped on Monday morning. The victim has not been publicly named, managed to escape from the home on Friday, according to prosecutors. So people already been getting arrested. As per usual, it kind of shows you nowadays, like, getting away with crime is like almost impossible now. Like, especially in this type of instances, because obviously he knew who the kidnappers were. But being a criminal nowadays is long. It really is fucking long. But big up the guy who survived. Big up the guy who survived. You're an absolute G. Absolute G. Moving on. Talking about surviving. Look at this, courtesy of Colin Rook on Twitter. Man goes flying in front of thousands of people at the annual Gloucestershire cheese roll at the Coopers Hill in the UK. The tradition involves individuals who chase after a roll of cheese down a steep 200-yard hill. According to the BBC, 2 people were rushed to hospital for the injuries. It's clear that the man's condition is in the videos below. It's unclear, the cheese roll event dates back 600 years. A 600-year plus tradition. And I see these videos, right? And the winner was some guy from Germany called Tom Kopke or Kopke. When I see this type of stuff, I know it looks crazy. I know it looks wild. But the first thing I think about when I see these type of videos, I want to go next year. I'm sorry, but I want to go so badly. There's something in me. Maybe it's fucking recklessness. maybe it's a flipping ego, maybe it's courage, maybe it's idiocy, right? Whatever it may be, there's something in me. Even though I've just seen this guy who looks like he might have brain damage as he went down that fucking hill. Even though I know I probably won't be the type of guy that would win this sort of thing and go down it and grab the fucking cheese wheel, right? I know it. Most likely I won't be that guy. I'll probably be the guy that would go down there and broke every bone in his body. There's a part of me that really wants to go next year and do this. Maybe just for the video, maybe just for the meme of it, maybe just for the bar story, because I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for a good bar story. I'm a sucker for being with that guy, that loser at the bar that just sits there and has all the fucking best stories, has lived the best life, a full life, a rich life, been loads of places, touched loads of people, seen loads of things. This is one of the things I would love to go and see and do. I would love to fucking go this. I'm legitimately, seriously considering doing this next year. What a bit of fun this would be. What a bit of fun. But I know I'll probably end up like this guy, you know? I know I'll probably end up like this guy. And I'm sure there's been many people in the past who have done many things to try and evade not falling like that, right? You buy probably some boots with spikes on it. You do everything you can to avoid falling that way, but you just have to because the hill is just too steep, you know? But I want to do it. I really want to do it. I swear to God, I really want to do it and see how it feels. But big up the guy who won. Big up the blood clot guy who won. There's actually more stories here courtesy of BBC. Let's see here. It says steeper than the steepest street. How steep is Cooper's Hill? With an average gradient of more than 45 degrees. Oh my God. Cooper's Hill is steeper than the steepest street in England, understood to be Vale Street in Bristol. Actually, I'm not surprised by that. Bristol is kind of hilly. Having been to Bristol a couple of times, big up that hostel in Bristol. Forgot what your name is. There's a hostel in Bristol. Or was that Brighton? No, it's Bristol. Big up that hostel in Bristol. That is like a half of a. It's like a bar, like a karaoke busker performance bar thing, and it's also a hostel. It's got like I don't know what the room. One room I stayed in might have had like 100 beds. Might have been like 100-bed room, and it also doubles up as like a bar. People like performing, so it's the worst type of hostel because there's people literally performing on stage, giving it their all, singing their heart out, and you're trying to sleep in this fucking room that's got 100 other souls in there. Kind of wild, but Bristol's a lovely place. Great beers, great fucking craft beer scene, and blah 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 blah. But if you walk around there, there's loads of hills and shit in it. So I think this actually makes a lot of sense. That means for every foot competitor travels, the slope also drops a foot. The hill is not man-made. It's completely natural slope, and the cheese can reach high speeds, traveling as fast as 70 miles per hour. You're chasing a wheel that's going downstairs. So how fast can you go down that hill, I wonder? But if you could tell, to be honest, even by this picture that I see here on the BBC, that hill looks very steep. You know, that hill looks very steep from the top here to the bottom. You can tell that hill is steep. You can tell that fucking hill is steep as fuck. But I really want to go. YouTuber I Show Speed took part last year. I remember that actually. Event declared unsafe. As popular as cheese rolling is, it's put a strain on emergency services. The local Tewkesbury, what's that? Tewkesbury, Jesus Christ, has raised concerns over the public safety. The group has one particular concern is how emergency service will respond if there's a major incident for multiple casualties. Okay, we don't care about how unsafe it is because we love it. Here's how the 2020-24 event unfolded. Let me actually check this one out as well.
It's free to enter, and you could win a cheese.
We are underway in the Gloucestershire Cheese Roll 2024.
It's a 100-yard race, but down a very steep hill. All while chasing a traditional double Gloucester that can reach more than 70 miles.
Yo, that guy in the high vis. What technique is that? That guy in the high vis was like standing up the entire time. What the fuck technique was that? I need to jack that technique. Whatever the technique was that guy in the high vis had, I need to jack that because he did pretty well. That guy here, right there in the high vis, he was skidding down that shit.
It's free to enter, and you could win a cheese.
We are underway in the Gloucestershire Cheese Roll 2024.
It's a 100-yard race, but down a very steep hill. All while chasing a traditional double Gloucester that can reach more than 70 miles an hour.
Rolls over the line. The man in the Hive's jacket looked good from the very first second. He held.
Look at this event, look at this hill.
He smashed it.
England is mad. I love it, I love it.
How do you feel now you've won? What does that mean to you?
I'm buzzing, I'm buzzing. It's like you start and then the adrenaline takes over and then you just go.
Sliding on his backside where others have already started to tumble.
You can do an alphabet of adjectives to describe
That's
the cheese
so
roll.
fun.
A for absurd, B for bonkers, C for chaotic, D for, well, dangerous. But
Come on.
T is for tradition, and one that everyone here at Cooper's Hill is very proud of.
It's just a good thing for the community.
Oh, okay, so I get it. So I thought when you slide down, you have to then grab the wheel. I guess when the wheel goes down, someone grabs it, and then who crosses the line first gets the wheel. I thought you have to roll down, try and somehow not become concussed, and then find the wheel. You know, that's another fight. I guess they grab the wheel for you, but you just have to pass the line first.
Like, there's loads of us out. Like, I don't even know the people who set up beforehand, and everyone plays a part. Like, you know.
Each race is unique, but this year one was very unusual.
This time, and they all full start. We've got a full start. Now what happens now? Because once the momentum starts, how do you stop?
The runners
A
went.
full start.
The cheese didn't, though.
Incredible scenes. They are not even chasing a cheese.
It's more than national, it is international, with visitors and competitors from right around the world.
Well, 2 years ago, I seen the video on Netflix and on YouTube, and I heard. And when I see that thing, when the people going down, the first thing, it's me, it's just for me. And I wanted to take a part this year.
Roman shit.
I think I'm gonna win it.
Well, he didn't, but this guy did, claiming the last race of the day for Gloucestershire.
He got in front of me and I thought, I got to pick this up, I got to bring it home for Brockworth. The last one standing, I had to bring it home.
It's probably the steepest hill.
Not gonna lie, I love the accent, man. I love any accents outside of London. I'm not going to lie. I love any accent outside London. Last cheese rolling champions. 2 fearless lake champions of cheese rolling will be remembered this year. The first downhill men's race was held in memory of Izzy John, who died in 2015, and second was Steve Brain, who died in 2018. Both men won more than 30 cheese races between them. These are the fucking Tom Bradys of the cheese world, right? The Michael Jordans of the fucking cheese world, the Messis, the Cristiano Ronaldo of the cheese worlds. One of Steve Bryan's dying wishes was that his ashes be scattered at the top of Cooper's Hill. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. What a good way to go out. What a brilliant way to go out, bro. That's like getting your ashes scattered at fucking Old Trafford. One of the he scattered it on top of Cooper. His friend Liam Chapman said they blew everywhere. He'll always be here. Izzy John was 13 years old when he chased his first hill in 1956. He was 72 when he passed away. And his son Danny said his father was adamant that he won 14 cheeses before retiring from the competition in his mid-20s, though the official record is 13. Wow, look at this. Spectators started gathering Cooper's Hill first thing this morning to buy themselves a good spot to watch the races. Here's the itinerary for today. The first downhill race. So, okay, so there's 2 men's races. There's 2. One at 12, one at 12:30. I'm definitely going to go next year. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually going to go next year. Winning despite being knocked out. As we build up to first, so here's a 2023 Canadian competition winner, or competitor, sorry. Delaney Irving won the women's race despite being unconscious when she crossed the finishing line. She had to watch the footage back after to see the winning moment. Cooper's Hill, not for the faint-hearted. Yo, crossing the finishing line and you're unconscious is a choice. That is a fucking choice. The hill decide what happens. YouTuber Zach competed on the hill 6 years ago as a sprightly 26-year-old and back this year to claim the cheese. Dressed as a crash test dummy in a mosh suit, Zach told BBC reporter Georgia Stone, "It's gravity game." He said, "I've brought 5 of my best friends. We're going to create some of the sort of human avalanche and hope to get to the bottom first. The hill is going to decide what happens. We're just signing up to ride of a lifetime." Yeah, that's actually a good point. The hill does decide. The hill does fucking decide. But big up those guys. I'm definitely going to try my hardest to go there next bloody year. This is an article about the winner that won, actually. Big courtesy of The Guardian. Big up The Guardian. "I risked my life for this. YouTuber wins the cheese rolling race for 2 years in a row." Really? Tom Kopke, big up him, 23, retains the title while women's race was won by student raising money for refugees. Yeah, Steve, Tom Kopke is kind of jacked as well. He looks like a well-built white lad. Let's see what this well-built white lad did. The idea of a perfect spring bank holiday for many involves lazing around at home and barely lifting a finger. For a second member of Daredevils flocking to Gloucestershire, however, the day spent chasing a wheel. The annual tradition, thought to date back to 1826, sees competitors sprint, trip, and tumble down Cooper's Hill. The cheese is given a head start of a few seconds and said to roll down the hill at 70 miles per hour. I wonder if anybody's actually been able to beat the wheel down the hill. Probably not, right? Probably never in the history of this has somebody crossed the line before the cheese has. The cheese is chased 200 yards down the 1.2 gradient hill. The first person to the bottom wins a cheese. Among this year's winners were a YouTuber and a university student raising money for refugees and homeless people. The recent dry spell of weather made the racetrack muddier, slower, and more dangerous for the competitors, who were cheered on by hundreds. Wow. Okay. So I guess is it easier when it's wet then? So when it's muddier, it doesn't probably hurt as much. I guess when it's dry, it's all hard, and you're literally bouncing on concrete, innit? Woo. The German YouTuber Tom Kopke from Munich was the winner of the first men's downhill race. Oh, funny you mentioned Munich. I was just talking to somebody about Munich the other day. Hey, retaining the title he won last year. It was crazy. This year was different, he said. Last year the hill was muddy, and this year it was dry and dangerous, and people got injured. I shut off my brain and went for it. All the people at the top said that they were going to steal my title, but this is mine. I worked for this. I risked my life for this. This is my cheese, back to back. Big up Tom Kopke. Rod Smart, who was produced cheese for the chase for more than 25 years, once again provided the wheel for this year. 4 cheeses weighing up to 3 kg each. 3 smaller ones weighing up to 1.5 kg. The women's race was won by Ava Sender Logan, 20, who was racing for the Refugee Community Kitchen, which supports displaced people in northern France and homeless people in London and Edinburgh. Yeah, big up her as well. An amazing cause. Big up that girl. This is my first time, the student from London said. I thought it was such a tradition. I will probably feel it tomorrow. Yes, you will, darling. I can't believe it. It felt quite long coming down. And then I hit my head, I was down. That's what matters. I'm fine. Yeah, big up. That's when you know you're made of that strong stuff. And that's when you know you can look after yourself as a woman. If you can roll down that hill and still be smiling while you're holding the block of cheese, you know you're built different. The second men's race was won by Luke Priest from Gloucestershire, who ran down the hill dressed as Superman costume. I'm absolutely buzzing. Amazing. The adrenaline. My dad did it. I can't believe it. It's amazing. The final men's downhill race was won by Brian Smith, 33, from New Zealand, who said he'd settled for second place last year. It feels great. I did it last year, came second in my heat, and I thought I'll do it again this year. Since 2010, the event has been staged unofficially. Health safety caused the official competition to be cancelled when more than 15,000 turned up to watch the 2009 competition. Since then, it's been held under police supervision. Local roads were closed for 2.5 miles around the slope. In 2013, the wheel of cheese was replaced by a lightweight foam version over safety fears, but next year the wheel deal returned to good. Yeah, come on, man. Honestly, like I said, this country, a couple of people complain, a couple of people get their fucking feelings in a bunch, and then they stop all the fun for everybody else. Who approved them replacing the wheel of cheese with foam for safety concerns? The whole point is that it's not safe. That's why people go there. That's why she's smiling that way. Because you know this shit could probably put you in a wheelchair, or it could help you win a block of cheese that doesn't have any intrinsic value, but it could also raise the profile of your fucking charity you're going for, you know? You could end up in a chair for nothing, basically. And it's still worthy of going. It's still worth going. The origin of the competition is unknown. Some believe it came from claiming grazing rights on the common land around Cooper's Hill. Others think it could be a fertility ritual. Jesus Christ. A fertility ritual for men? Or is it for women? God damn. The popularity of the contest has boomed in recent years, with competitors and TV crews traveling around the world. The BBC has given live stream races, sometimes having to apologize for the ripe language, plotted adrenaline fueled event. Yeah, I'm there next year, man. I know it's a bit bait, it's a bit fucking normie, it's a bit NPC-ish, but I'm there. Because deep down, I have a little bit in that in me. Deep down, I have a little bit of that in me. Moving on. I saw this clip, right? Courtesy of this guy called Linus Ekenstam, right? And I think he's one of these tech guys, these Silicon Valley dudes who I just follow on social because I think they're pretty. What does he say? Okay, what his bio says: AI evangelist and optimist, latest AI news trends, learn how to use AI tools to augment your ability. So he's one of these type of dudes that's always fucking sucking off Elon, always sucking off AI, lover of all technology, bring it all on, love it, never skeptical of anything, everything's good, nothing's bad. So and obviously he's got latest news, so I'm always following him. But I saw this clip, right? And it made me think to myself, some of these people, some of these tech evangelists, or these guys that don't see nothing wrong in the rapid development of technology, especially stuff like AI, and aren't concerned in the slightest as to how regular people are going to adjust to it, and how it's going to completely disrupt certain industries, and it already has done it, really do worry me, because they don't see anything wrong with it. They don't see any warning signs. They don't see anything bad. Everything is for the best. Everything's for the better. And I think a lot of us, especially those of us who read, myself included, I've definitely seen the more I've been on social media, the more I found it hard to pick up books and stuff and read, actually. And even though I'm still reading now, I definitely do find it harder to read than I did maybe 10 years ago, because my habits on social media have changed, you know? Not because I'm older and shit, just because I think my tendency to kind of always during my downtime grab my phone has made me not been so quick to getting back to that sort of stuff. So, and you can also think about kids when it comes to bullying and all this sort of stuff, and whether they get fed online, blah, 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 blah. But I heard this clip and that was like, God damn it, man. Like, I'm a techno or enthusiast as well. And I think, you know, startups have done a lot of good in the world, but I'm also skeptical and hesitant with some things and some people. I don't think everyone has the greatest intentions. Like, for instance, I don't think Elon is literally here. It's like this selfless hero wanting to save humanity because he wants to terraform Mars. I think there's a lot in it for him as well. So when I hear these people speak the way they do, it kind of scares me. I'm not going to lie. It kind of freaking scares me. So this is Linus Ekenstam saying you're going to lose your job and that's fine, right? Which is fucking crazy line. I wonder if that kind of harkens back to the quote that Tim Dillon always says. I forgot which one it was actually, that particular one that can't escape in my head right now. But let's play this clip so you can hear what this guy has to say about the ever looming takeover of AI.
I'm just going to rant for a bit because people are a bit too soft. They are not really understanding what's going on. Everyone are getting stuck on the details and people are just completely missing the big picture. That's fine. Let me just try to explain that in simple terms. People will lose their jobs, period. Loads and loads and loads of people will lose their jobs. White-collar jobs are probably the ones that are hanging the loosest at this very moment. If you're a lawyer, if you're a financial worker, if you're a consultant, if you're a creative artist, whatever you do that's a white-collar job that took you a long time to be good at, you are in the process of potentially losing your job. And that sucks. The good part is, if you're one of those people that are willing to adapt, willing to upskill, willing to reskill, willing to test the waters, willing to try to understand that this is not just a hype, but this is actually a paramount change that's coming, maybe one in 500 years, maybe a 1 in 1,000 year change that we're living through, then you're one of the luckier ones. Because
so if I don't want to upscale, like, what are you meant to upscale if like robots and AI take over your job when you're stacking shelves somewhere or you're working at some Amazon fulfillment center? How are you meant to upscale? How are you meant to learn? How are you meant to get out of that position? Please, somebody tell me. For that person who's just trying to make enough to put food on the table, keep a roof over their heads, keep them warm during the winters, maybe allow themselves one vacation per year, if not, maybe one staycation per year, if not, maybe a nice outfit, maybe a drink, maybe a meal for their birthday. That's all they want really for the most part. And you're telling them to what? Learn to code. Learn to fucking code. Learn to what? Implement or use AI in their day-to-day work. It's like, bro, I stack shelves. I work at a fucking till in fucking Morrison's or in Asda's or in Tesco's, and now my job's been taken away from me because of these self-checking fucking checkouts and shit, but most of which have fucking scales on them, so you don't even need anyone there. Some of which I've seen have the approval thing, which is scary. I've seen one trial where they have these self-checkout things where you can approve. You know, sometimes when you go on self-checkout, if you try and buy alcohol, that's when someone has to come over and manually approve it for you by either checking your ID or just approving you on the screen. I've now seen self-checkout points that allow you to scan your fucking ID, like how you do at a boarding gate, like, you know, at immigration, to scan your passport, to scan your fucking driving license. So you don't even need anybody. So you can go actually at the self-checkout thing with your fucking bottles of Tito's, with your bottles of Por Osos, with your bottles of fucking Tiger Thick whiskey, and just pass it by scanning your fucking card on there. so no human has to actually interact with you. How is that person that lost their job there, the bagger, the till worker, meant to implement, meant to fucking learn and develop their skills? How, Sway?
You have not just proven that you're willing to kind of try to be wrong, to try to see that maybe there is something here more to it than what I thought in the first place. You're also actually putting yourself up for more success, because even if it's not this wave, if you look at technological advancements in the last 50 years, there will be a wave, whether or not it's this one or if it's another one, that will be substantially impacting the way that we work and live. And look, most of you guys have jobs that didn't even exist 15 or 20 years ago. So you're all...
So suck it up. Most of you are lucky to have a job anyway. Most of you, your jobs didn't even exist 15 years ago. You're lucky to have it now. So if it goes again, what's the matter? You didn't have it before. But what? What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Already kind of living through this experience where like, oh yeah, I'm a VFX artist, I'm rotoscoping and whatnot. Yeah, come on. Who did that 15 years ago or 20 years ago? Like maybe a handful of people. And earlier than that, it wasn't even a job. So everyone needs to stop to be so precious about their occupations and start paying attention to the larger shifts.
So precious. People need to stop being so precious about their occupations. Some people, their occupations is all they have. Their occupations are the only thing stopping them from not sleeping out in the streets. That's why some of us, myself included, have a lot of sympathy at times and sometimes a lot of frustration when you see homeless people on the street. Because the sympathy and empathy comes from the fact that you know you're only a couple, maybe one bad financial decision away from fucking sleeping rough on the street too. But some of the frustration comes from the point of you're having to also get your ass up to work every single day to fucking put food on the table. So you see somebody begging, it can kind of fill you with some level of anger and frustration that they are doing that while you are choosing to fucking slave yourself in your workplace. So when somebody tells you something like this, right, you're like, hold on, the only thing I have to my name, the only thing I'm kind of proud of, especially people who have kind of grafted their way up working in the fucking corporate world, who didn't have any fucking education, who maybe didn't graduate high school and shit and just busted their ass through just getting one job after the other, one job after the other, after next, after whatever, and then suddenly becoming a fucking, you know, suddenly working in a C-suite of a company, because that can happen if you obviously work hard enough. For someone to say that to you when your whole job is your whole identity, which is not a bad thing, right? You could have worse things be identity. You could be like fucking Bert Kreischer, stand-up comedian, and drinking booze and taking a shot of is your whole identity. You wouldn't want that. So people that make their whole life their identity, I don't mind it. More power to you. Enjoy yourself. Stack your money. Enjoy your work colleagues. Hang out and do your things. But these type of guys are telling you your job doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And it sort of made me think like these guys are kind of like in a weird way it's almost like they believe there is no negative thing that could ever occur as this rapid development of AI continues to grow. Because recently I saw this thing with Google. Is it Google? Where they're doing there's a new video AI tool that allows you to basically create these really realistic, essentially, videos, all made with AI, and people have been testing it by doing those kind of street interview things, and that's been freaking amazing. I saw this one clip that I'm actually going to play in Random Show later that's absolutely brilliant, that kind of takes the piss out of influencers and shit on like during a global pandemic or during like a nuclear war and shit. So there's a lot of these new AI developments that are legitimately taking away the use or the need for you to hire a fucking graphic designer, a copywriter, or this or that, whatever it may be. If that is the case, then you need to do something for those people that lost their jobs, bro. You need to do something for them. And sometimes it's not going to be, sometimes doing something for them, like helping them with money and shit, isn't actually going to replace the fulfillment, the sense of purpose that they get from having a job. Like, I've noticed it myself. Like, I think as much as I've been doing really well with my content recently in the podcast and the streams, especially on the Random Show channel, that's been growing crazy. That's because I've been doing it consistently, obviously, trying to hit this 31-day marathon thing. I have to be honest, like, I still think the reason why these channels exist in the first place is because for the most of the time that I've had these channels, I've worked a full-time job. That's why these channels existed. I hated my reality. I hated my 9 to 5, Monday to Friday reality so much that I decided to start doing YouTube, or I decided to start recording a podcast. That's what came of it. That's why I decided to maybe start DJing, decided to start doing art, decided to maybe start drawing, whatever it may be. It came because I hated the mundanity of my regular job. So it kind of forced me to make more out to kind of make the most out of my day. So I'd work from 9 to 5, 9 to 6. I'd come back, I'd shower, I'd change, and then I'd be bang out with the fucking content. So I probably did more when I had a 9 to 5 than now, you know? Honestly, I did way more in terms of output because I had such a limited time. I couldn't waste a day. I couldn't waste a single day because I was then back to the drudgery of having to do my regular job. So a lot of people have that. Some people don't respond to it by making content. Some people respond to it by maybe going away on holiday, by maybe doing things with their family, starting a family. Take away that work from their life. Take away that work block from their fucking day to day, and they're going to be left with nothing really. So people are thinking that jobs are just like a job. A job is a lot of things for a lot of people. It gives people purpose, direction, structure, discipline, a schedule to it, you know, a reason to get up in the morning. Like, God almighty, these fucking people.
It's just so annoying to see all these people in the comments that are just like actually not understanding anything about what's going on. They're just angry. They're kind of maybe sad because they have done something for a few years and they become good at it, and then the machine comes in and does it better than them. Better, faster, cheaper. And
I wonder, in part, this guy's like callousness, this guy's like a level, this guy's like no emotional EQ. I wonder, right? I wonder if this is the reason why Elon struggled with Doge. Although Doge didn't live up to his promises, and you know, he's now taken a break from politics, thank God, and he's now dedicating himself solely to Tesla and SpaceX. I wonder if a lot of the reason why he wasn't successful in the government was because most tech guys, most Silicon Valley guys, most startup guys, they don't really have any empathy or compassion with people, you know? They just see them for a means to an end. But if you're working in a government, you kind of have to understand people. You kind of have to understand what jobs represent. You kind of have to understand what certain entitlements, what certain benefits do for people, what certain benefits and entitlements and schemes do for the wider sense of purpose, togetherness, happiness, fulfillment it does for people. But when you start looking at things and just numbers on a spreadsheet, you start looking at things as on a VLOOKUP or something, right? On a spreadsheet and shit, as a cell, you then lose people because you're not really talking to them as people. You're just seeing them as a number, and people don't like to be seen as numbers or as stats or something, right? They want to be seen as people, living organisms with fucking hearts, minds and souls and shit, and dreams and aspirations. They don't want to be looked at as like, oh, these replaceable cogs in the machine, because they're not. Even though they are, they're not.
And I would also freak out. I mean, I've been a designer for 20 years. I know I'm done for. I know my job is not going to be around. I've already come to terms with that. Like, there's no going back from that. And yes, it's not great now. It's not the best. It's not replacing me today. But it will replace me within time. And that time scale is probably not very long. If I'm lucky, 2 years. If I'm unlucky, less. The thing here is to like bring your expertise to the new thing, and we're going to continue to push the frontier. We're going to continue to push what it is that we do. So like, yes, your current job, yeah, you'll lose it, and there will be rough times, and there will be good times that comes after it. We will do other things. We will level up. Just stop being so negative in the comments. Just stop being so
negative. Stop being so sad and dreary because the job you worked extremely hard to get, you grafted for, that has given you a reason to wake up in the morning, that has given you a sense of purpose, that's allowed you to maybe meet the love of your life. How many people in offices have met fucking husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, children of their fathers and mothers to their fucking child through that? How many people have met fucking best friends that they go to weddings and stuff with, they go to fucking holidays together with all the time? Come on, bro. Jobs give people a lot more than just the fucking job itself. It's all the other things included, especially if you're an adult and you don't really go out too much anyway. You don't really have a big social group of friends. Those things give you a lot to fucking look forward to. And this guy's telling you, it's no big deal. Just adjust, just adjust. Adjust to what, bro? I don't want to adjust. I want to work a regular job. I want to make a decent enough salary, and I want to be able to do the things that I enjoy. Whether that's doing karaoke, whether that's fucking, you know, playing around with fucking, I don't know, puzzles and shit, collecting fucking cards, whatever you fucking do, you want to do that. That's all you want. You don't want anything else. and these guys are telling you now to train to do this or what, to learn to code. I'm guessing, start what? Becoming an engineer? What? Becoming a prompt engineer or something? Is that what you want me to do? You want me to become a prompt engineer? And then when that gets replaced, then what? And the actual real answer to this, by the way, the real answer is this. The real answer is what should actually happen, and you're probably the only way to really save us regular folks, is to just have universal basic income across the board. We have it similar. We have a similar thing here in the UK. We have universal credit that people get if you're out of work. You can kind of claim universal credit, which is essentially what's it called? Welfare, right? In a way. But I think in the UK it's a bit more higher than maybe what you get in the US. They cover your rent. They can cover this. Mostly they cover rent, not anything else usually. But you can get a certain amount. But I think that's the only way to kind of do it. And maybe you do that based on the median wage of whatever you are in the world. So let's say universal basic income was like set at a certain level. Let's say universal income was like 1,500. And let's say whatever your 1,500 is in your country, in your city. So let's say 1,500 in this country, which is basically what I'd usually get from my kind of like job, full-time job that I would usually get, would be £1,500 per month. That's what I get paid. And then from that, you pay for your rent, and then whatever's left over, you kind of do what you want to do. That's what should happen. The government should pay everybody, especially if this AI thing goes where it's going to go, and we, you know, and we get to a point where AI just takes over most people's jobs. Everybody should get universal basic income, where they cover your base needs. 1,500 won't be enough for you to live lavishly, because I don't think what I used to get was 1,500. That's gross. That's like a 27. Is that a 27k per year salary? I think. I don't know what 1,500 is, but it's not a lot of money, but especially after taxes. So that should be your base level. And then if you want to make more, what you can implore people to do is to kind of chase their vocation, chase something that they're fucking passionate about, like a hobby that they can do part-time, whether that's helping out a florist, whether that's fucking helping out a youth center, whether that's whatever, helping in a record store, whether it's working in a supermarket, doing something part-time to supplement that income or to add on top of what you're making. But everybody should get a base of like 1,500. That way, you give people, at least if you're going to take away their jobs and their sense of purpose from Monday to Friday, at least you're paying them for it. It's still going to disrupt their day, because I think a lot of people, although I hated it working Monday to Friday, I think a lot of people get a lot of things from it. And I remember when I used to love it, I used to get a lot of things from it too. Especially when I was working retail. Like, weirdly enough, right, talking about jobs, I think I enjoyed way more. This is really strange to say. Maybe because it's just, maybe it's poverty mindset. But I think I enjoyed more working full-time in a service industry than I did when I went in the office. Which is strange, because when you work in the service industry, which I mean like, you know, working in stores, working in bars, working in restaurants and stuff, the dream, I don't know about for you guys, but I remember when we were on the shop floor, the dream was to always work in the head office, whatever company you're at. So if I was at Dr. Martens, I can't wait to go to Dr. Martens. I can't wait to maybe get a job in Dr. Martens HQ. If you work at a Nike store, an outlet, you'd be like, oh my God, I want to work in a Nike head office. I want to be a part of the energy marketing team. If you worked in an Adidas original store, oh my God, I want to work in the fucking Adidas HQ. Whatever store you worked in, you always went to work in the head office. But then when you go in the head office, when you suddenly make that transition that I did, when I finally left the shop floor and I started working in offices and stuff and doing marketing and social media and communications and customer service, well, that sort of stuff I was doing, you don't enjoy it as much. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it way more when I was in the shop floor. I loved working. I loved going to work every day. Like, I loved walking down, like when I was working at Carnaby Street, Dr. Martens, and I was a fucking key holder. I loved walking down there in the morning at like 8, grabbing my fucking coffee in my fucking Doc Martens, opening up the store, saying safe to everybody that walks down there. And I guess if you know, depending on your shift starts, you see the same people from different stores that you become friends with from other brands and shit. Getting your lunch quickly for half an hour outside the store, pretending to smoke a cigarette outside the store, even though you got fucking asthma and shit. That stuff was so fucking fun. But then when you go in the office, the politics, all of the nonsense and stuff, that like, it's just annoying, man. It's the worst. And as well, when you go in the office, I feel like you meet the worst type of employees. You meet a lot of like entitled people as well who haven't suffered. I think on the shop floor, you're all the same. You've all suffered. You've all had to work Boxing Day. You've all had to work, you know, Christmases. You've all had to work in the summers, sales. You've all had to do stock takes and shit. You know, you've done it. You've all had to go work in a store where maybe money's gone missing in a till and everyone's on notice. Everyone's fucking walking on eggshells. But then when you work in an office, you might work in an office and you might work with somebody that's like 22 and that's their first ever job in an office. And they have a sense of entitlement and ego, and they're just like ungrateful cunts. They're horrible they have horrible work ethic, and you're just there having to struggle and work, and it's the worst. So weirdly enough, I think I honestly did have way more fun in the shop floor, working in a bar briefly, working in nightclubs and cloakrooms and shit, than I ever did working in head office. I swear to God, it's so much fun. So that kind of person, taking away their Monday to Friday, taking away their Sunday to Sunday, it's going to be a big fucking difference, big fucking change to their life. Even if you give them UBI, it won't be enough for some people. Like some people will be forever broken. Like a lot of people broke during, and not broke, I mean broken, you know, probably double entendre there. But a lot of people's brains broke when COVID happened, you know. A lot of people did never adjust. Big up my guy Bobby, he's one of them. A lot of people never really adjusted to the whole working from home thing. They never adjusted to it. Never liked it, never adjusted to it. Much prefer working in the office Monday to Friday. They want to be around other people. They don't want to be at home on Zoom. They don't want to be at home on Skype. They don't want to be at home RP. They don't want to be at home on fucking Teams. Do you know what I mean? On Slack. They want to be around people. And even Slack only bangs when you're in the office. That doesn't really bang as well when you're at home. That shit only bangs when you're in office and you're talking about somebody right next to you that they can't see with a person in front of you. You know, that's where Slack fucking bangs. When you're hoping that the little fucking gossip you're fucking running on your manager and how much he stinks and shit, like figuratively or literally, he's not going to get out there. That shit bangs the same. But these motherfuckers, I don't know if it's never having an honest job. I don't know if it's about them just thinking technology is going to actually solve our answers and I have it wrong. Maybe my apprehension, maybe my concern is misplaced. Maybe it'll all work out, but I don't think it's going to work out. Judging by how we dealt with COVID and remote working, I don't think it's going to work out the way people think it's going to work out. I think there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to recover from it and are going to lose a bit of themselves because AI took them jobs and now they don't have any sense of purpose. But I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I am wrong. Talking about being wrong, have you guys heard this deal? New York Times. OpenAI unites with Jony Ive, legendary Apple designer responsible for the MacBook, iPods, iPhones and shit, original one, is linking up with OpenAI, $6.5 billion deal to create AI devices. Now, in short, from what I've been able to read online, the AI devices are most likely going to be something wearable or something that is audio based. Because I'm assuming, because a lot of people like myself are using AI like ChatGPT as like a de facto search engine, or like, but you're using it in a communicative way, in a you know, is that communicative? Like you're kind of talking to it to get to the best answer, get to the best request. You're not just asking straight up questions. So I think with that, you could probably get away with it being audio based. You don't really need a screen. You don't really need it to be a smartphone. You could get away with like having like a Google Home like device that you could just speak to. Maybe use certain catchphrases, certain words to wake it up and then have a conversation with it. That'll probably be the way. There's actually a video going around that OpenAI did, a promo video with Jony Ive and Sam Altman, and they're speaking about the deal. It's kind of 9 minutes of nothing, by the way. It's really good. If you're interested in how founders speak, and I've had it before with other founders that I've kind of had conflict with back in the day, who just say a lot without saying anything. They just use a lot of words just to fill up time, and it always sounds good, you know. And they do that upspeak thing, you know, that kind of thing what they do, right? Which is really annoying. But in this video, they don't really say much, but people are fucking hypothesizing or speculating, sorry, that maybe the glasses that Jony Ive is wearing might be the first device in this partnership. Some people are saying the entire video that features Sam Altman and Jony Ive is freaking made with AI itself. It's a completely AI generated video. Some people are suggesting that. I'm not too sure about that, but regardless, $6.5 billion deal to create AI devices, man. It just goes to show that although AI is where it's at the moment, nobody can replace or nobody can replicate Jony Ive's ideas and the way that he designs, you know, which is interesting, right? You say that. This guy's like, oh, welcome it all, welcome the techno overlords, welcome all this fucking evolution, devolution, whatever it is. But then there are still industrial designers, product designers like Jony Ive, somebody that I look up to as a designer, obviously having studied product design myself. But most of my main hero, my main people that I kind of looked for when I went to go study product design in Central St. Martin's was Seymour Powell. It's a product design, industrial design studio. I think it's based out here in London, if I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's London. Run by these two guys called Dick Seymour and Richard Powell, or the other way around, Richard Seymour, Richard Powell, whatever, two guys. And they're incredible industrial designers. I think they're also responsible for helping out with the Dyson and shit, like credible. So it goes to show that although AI is where it's at, like humans, like me and you, are still necessary with this, because like Jony Ive is still that guy when it comes to design. So they still needed him to kind of push this thing forward. And at the moment, we haven't really got an AI device that's kind of like broke through and really took AI to the masses. So it's courtesy of the New York Times. Let's quickly read it. The rise of the artificial intelligence has profoundly altered technology, upending how software is created, how people search for information, and how images and videos can be generated. What the technology has yet to do, though, is find a preferred form of physical everyday gadgets. AI largely remains a domain of apps on phones, despite efforts of startups or others to move into devices. OpenAI, the world's leading AI lab, is taking a crack at that riddle. On Wednesday, Sam Altman, OpenAI's chief executive, said the company was paying $6.5 billion to buy IO, a one-year-old startup created by Jony Ive, a former top Apple executive who designed the iPhone. Most likely, you know what's funny about this, right? Most likely, Jony Ive set up IO with the sole intention for it to get bought out anyway. That was always the plan. Most likely, he set up this startup, probably designed some products, got people to sign presented it to companies, got them to sign NDAs and said, hey, we want to do this for you. And most likely OpenAI saw what Jony Ive was designing and thought, you know what, we can't let this guy go anywhere else. We have to keep him here. So I like when that shit happens, when some companies have the idea of like, hey, we're going to start this with the sole intention of it being bought out one day. The all-stock deal, which effectively unites Silicon Valley's royalty, is intended to usher in what the two men call a new family of products for the age of artificial general intelligence, or AGI, which shorthand for the future technology that achieves human-level intelligence. The only sad thing about this, I don't think Steve Jobs would ever let this happen. That's the only sad thing about this. Like, in what world would Steve Jobs allow Sam Altman to come along, take over AI, you know, be the kind of the main guy when it comes to AI and shit, especially ChatGPT, maybe brand wise, maybe not in terms of usage, because I think I still use Grok and DeepSeek a lot more than I use ChatGPT, but still, when you think of AI, you think of OpenAI, and it's not really open, but you know what I mean. I don't think Steve Jobs would ever allow this. I think Steve Jobs would have fought tooth and nail to either, I'm not sure if Jony Ive left Apple while Steve Jobs was still there. I'm not too sure how the law goes, but I think he would have fought tooth and nail to bring Jony Ive back to Apple, or to have him there, just keep him there under lock and key. I don't think he leaves. But, you know, Apple isn't what they used to be, so I guess we are where we're at. There's Sam Altman there. The deal, which is OpenAI's biggest acquisition, will bring Mr. Ive and his team of roughly 55 engineers and researchers. Love From will assume creative and design responsibilities across OpenAI and build hardware that helps people better interact with their technology. So I guess Love From is the overarching company that oversees IO. In a joint interview, Mr. Ive and Altman declined to say what the devices would look like and how they might work, but they have said that they hope to share the details next year. Mr. I-58 framed the ambitious as galactic, with the aim of creating amazing products that elevate humanity. By the way, we don't have that a lot anymore, and I wish, hopefully they're able to keep this under lock and key, and we don't hear about it until it's actually ready. I miss the days of like shock drops when it comes to tech. Nowadays, you know about everything before it drops. It always leaks, whether it's through some fucking case company in Asia that leaks the spec of something. Like things always leak before. I miss the days when things were actually secret and they dropped when they dropped, and we all found out together all at the same time. That'd be fucking amazing. We've been waiting the next big thing for 20 years, says Mr. Altman. We want to bring people something beyond the legacy products we've all been using for so long. Mr. Altman and Mr. Ive are effectively looking beyond the smartphone, which has been signature people's device since the iPhone debuted in 2007. If the two men succeed, it will be, and if and it is a very big if, sorry, they could spur what is known as the ambient computing. Rather than typing and taking photographs of smartphones, future devices like pendants, glasses that use AI could process the world in real time, fielding questions and analyzing images and sounds in seamless way. Yeah, I think that's what. So it's probably going to be something similar to that AI pin, but I have a feeling it'll be some sort of thing that you can speak to, like an orb, a pod, a speaker, something in that way. Maybe it'll project a screen similar to, like, you know, Star Wars way, right? Maybe some screen will pop up in it or something, but I don't think it'll be anything else other than that. I don't think it's going to be wearable technology. If it was, they would have said it already. I think it's definitely going to be some sort of thing you can put on the table. Mr. Altman has invested in Humane, a company that pursued this kind of vision with the creation of AI, but the startup folded not long after its product flopped, which is unfortunate because I think the idea was pretty cool. Humane AI pin, when we can kind of compute with it, like using your fingers and shit. I thought that was pretty cool, but unfortunately execution didn't really work, and maybe the business behind it was also kind of shit. In their interview, Mr. Ive, expressed some misgivings with the iPhone and said that he motivated him to team up with Mr. Altman. I shoulder a lot of responsibility for what these things have brought us, he said, referring to the anxiety, distractions that come with being constantly connected to your computer. Mr. Altman echoed the sentiment. I don't feel good about my relationship with my technology, he says, right now. It feels a lot like being jostled on a crowded street in New York or being bombarded with notification and flashing lights in Las Vegas. He said the goal was to leverage AI to help people make some sensible noise. By the way, man, they're just saying this now. There will come a time when AI is going to be... Remember Google when it first launched? Google search, how good it was. There will come a point where fucking AI will be flooded with ads. Don't kid yourself. These guys are talking now and they're trying to be fucking all altruistic and shit. And they're trying to be all sensitive and shit, and they're trying to, try to connect with us regular civilians and act the way they are. But very soon you'll fucking have ads. You know, like that thing in that episode of Black Mirror where that lady, I don't know, she gets brain dead, and then they activate a part of her brain, but then she has to get a certain data plan to have it not have ads and shit. That's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be like that. AI is gonna be flooded with ads very, very soon. Don't doubt it. If they find a way. They're gonna find, if the money's good enough anyway, they'll find a way. As part of the deal, Mr. Ive said in his design studio Loveform will remain independent and continue to work on projects separate. Okay, so they made it very clear. Sam Altman's not buying or investing into Jony Ive's studio. That's remaining independent. It's IO, which is one thing that came out of that studio. That's why being a dreamer and a designer and trying to actually create the world, like I think there's like famous Steve Jobs quote, right, about trying to create the future, or trying to create the future as you see it in real time, is actually super inspirational and very motivating and also very achievable, because these regular people like you and I, living, breathing organisms, are out here doing just that. Jony Ive built this design studio, and this one faction of this design studio called IO has now been bought for 6.5 billion and will now usher in this new generation of devices, because don't doubt yourself, whatever they do, the whole industry will follow and copy. So this is fucking amazing, really fucking cool to see. Scott Cannon, Evan Hankey, Tang Tan, who also founded IO with Mr. Ive, will become OpenAI's employees and report to Peter Willinder, a vice president of product who will oversee IO division. The acquisition is a significant windfall for Mr. Ive. OpenAI already owned 23% stake of IO as part of an agreement between the two companies end of last year. Two people with knowledge of the deal said it's now paying around $5 billion to fully acquire the startup. Jesus Christ. OpenAI separately has a startup fund that invested in Mr. Ive's last startup last year, and the deal was subject to regulatory approval. The New York Times has sued OpenAI for OpenAI set off an AI boom in 2020 when it released ChatGPT chatbot. In March, the startup completed $40 billion funding that's valued at $300 billion, making it one of the world's most valuable private companies. The fundraising round was led by Japanese conglomerate SoftBank. So yeah, let's see how it goes, man. I'm really looking forward to it, what they do. I think it's gonna be fucking amazing. Jony Ive is one of the best legendary designers of all time. I'm sure when he does put his mind to it and create this fucking new AI gadget tool, whatever it's going to be fucking amazing. And I'm also hoping it's going to usher in this new trend of people trying to create devices specifically for AI that don't really work the same way smartphones work. So maybe in future you could possibly replace which won't require you to be online as much, because I feel like my phone is like literally an extension of my arm nowadays. You know what I mean? It's never not in my hand, and I'm really getting annoyed by that sort of stuff. I'm really kind of weaning myself off certain apps like Instagram and shit, but I'm still on my phone too much. I don't have certain apps on my main screen that kind of help things, but I think I need to kind of just still take a step back. But it's really hard. So maybe these devices could be a little bit of a stopgap in between. Maybe they can be a bit of a stopgap in between. Maybe, just maybe, there can be a bit of a stopgap in between. We hope and pray. We pray and hope. We hope and pray. We pray and hope. Talking about hoping and praying. Talking about hoping and praying. So, I forgot what the festival was called. Please forgive me. I forgot what the festival is called. But there was this festival that happened in New York, techno festival, that everybody went to and everyone was excited. No, it was in New York, somewhere in America. Please forgive me. I think I saw this on the r/AVS rave subreddit. And I'm wondering, right, what is in the drugs? What is going on lately? Because this is the second time I've seen this happen on the timeline, where somebody in the fucking audience decided to bum rush the fucking DJ and try and get behind the decks. Or the first one obviously was that guy, I forgot that festival, they tried to attack the DJ, and I was attacking him actually. This guy looks like he wants to play, or I don't know, he wants to rub his bum on the decks. But this is fucking wild. This guy just leaps from the dance floor all the way to the stage. And if you can see this video clip, you're not gonna see the whole video, or you can't see if you're not watching it. But there's a bit of a gap between where the people are standing. There's like a barricade to the stage. So he had to kind of leap 2 different places, get past security, and he still managed to get up there. Absolutely crazy. But I feel like it's been happening way more often lately. And as you can see that he gets led outside, right? So number one thing to observe from this is that he's got a fucking jockstrap on, or he's wearing a thong. First of all, credit to you, guy. Wherever you are, my guy, you're a fucking legend. He's got his fucking studded belt on. He's got his little fucking what's that thing called again? Nacht Club, is it Nacht Club? That fucking Berlin techno brand thing. He's got his Nacht Club little jockstrap whatever on. All the girlies in this crowd are like deadpanning him or smiling nervously, which is good, right? You got the girlies on your side. He's doing this whole new technique of DJing, which I've never seen before in my life, where you scratch with your bare ass. It probably helps because he's got like a flat ass. When you got like a big dump truck like I have and shit, maybe it's a bit harder. But when you got like a flat Caucasian ass like he has, you could probably scratch and play. You could probably fucking beat match with it. You could easily fucking, you know, drop tunes in. You could maybe kind of set even cue points, you know, loops and shit. You could maybe, you know, whatever. You could do a bits with your bum. So I like that. And I hope somebody does it one day. Maybe it's going to be, what's his thing? Maybe it's going to be that guy that wears a mask with a top off. Maybe he one day will do, when he's doing his fucking little crackhead dances, maybe he will get his ass up on the decks and kind of start spinning and mixing with his bum. That might be pretty good to see. And the other thing as well, on top of it, he created a moment that no one's ever going to forget. He's created a legendary moment that nobody's ever going to forget. And I think that's worth its weight in shame. That's worth its weight in violence. That's worth its weight in awkwardness. That's worth its weight in embarrassment. Because I can't think of a single other reason why somebody would do this. Now, I've read reports. I've seen this guy's profile, right? He's like an up and coming DJ himself, trying to make it out there in America. He's got a really interesting profile because I think most of his posts are him just playing, you know, different angles of him in Pirate Studios, going fucking crazy. So big up him. He's a big Pirate Studio supporter like I am. And And he kind of takes it very, very, very seriously. He shows himself getting his hair cut before he goes out, like similar to me and shit. So I feel some sort of kinship to him, right? And the reason why I feel kinship to him as well is that when I saw this, I forgot, oh shit, I remember I did something similar. Back in the day, right? I went to this rave called Love Fever. I think it's called, was it called Love Fever? I think it's Love Fever. Yeah, big up Alex Bradley. When I first used to go to Love Fever, right? And this is worse because back then I was like their unofficial photographer, right? Because I used to take these really kind of cool 35mm pictures and shit. I was making a zine. I was doing all this sort of madness. I was involved in the scene. I was being a fucking dick eater. I was glazing. I was fucking being a groupie. You know, all those fucking things. I'm not now. But back then I was definitely that kind of guy. So I remember going to Love Fever and I forgot who was playing. But I was so off my face that I think I went behind the decks and I kind of like did the whole like lower the sound and put it back up again. And when I did it, everyone went crazy. I'm not gonna lie, everyone loved it. Then I did it a second time because I was so fucked, and then obviously everyone said, get the fuck away from the decks. I didn't get chucked out though. I didn't get chucked out, maybe because of my skin color, maybe because of my size, my strength, my levels of fucking thuggery. I'm not too sure. But I remember I did and I didn't get chucked out. I did it, and this is like, I don't know what year this was. This is ages ago. So I understand what may happen. Sometimes you're feeling the tune so much, you love the DJ so much, and sometimes, you know, these Caucasian mainland DJs, they don't really have that vibes. They're like surgeon. They're like their head down playing. It's a fucking job for them. They clock in, clock out. There's no passion. There's no excitement. There's no spontaneity. There's no rock star, right? So I'm there watching this guy play. I'm like, I could do something better than this. Let me interrupt his set. Let me feel entitled and emboldened, and let me make myself the main character. Oh, you want to see him play? No. You want to see me, Agostino. So I remember just taking the volume out, going choop, and then putting it up again. Everyone's like, ah. I did it the second time, and no one liked it. So I understand. But I was off my face. I think back then as well. That's when I was a heavy MDMA user. I don't think I've taken MDMA since then. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might have done like an adult multivitamin kind of, you know, pill here and there. But I don't think I've ever done the MDMA since that time. Back then I used to do like 3.5 grams of MDMA a night. Or for a night, babe. No, for a weekend, for a night. We got one of them two. Either one's bad. And if you know about fucking, you know, MDMA and your serotonin levels and shit, when that crash happened, oof, I remember I was speaking to one of my fucking good friends who I used to do this rave with called So Special back in the day, Miles, actually. When I had like a crazy weekend where I was doing so much fucking MDMA. And I remember like it got to a point where I called my friend, and again, people that know me in real life know I don't call. So I'm calling my friend. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, man, I don't know, man. I'm just feeling so down lately. I'm feeling really down. Like, what's the point of doing anything? And then Miles laughing too. So I was like, what? He's like, bro, you're doing too much fucking MDMA. You're doing too much Mandy, mate. You need to lay off the Mandy. I was like this, mouth open, like fucking Shock Pikachu. Pika Pika. You know, Shock Pikachu. Hold on, what? You're telling me if you do unlimited amounts of fucking MDMA, you will eventually crash and become depressed? I didn't know that. Then I googled it and found out. I was like, oh, there is a repercussion for this drug. It's not all good. Because I think I had the spot. You know, when you first do it, you're like Super Mario. You're like bouncing. You're like loving it. And then obviously there comes a point where you crash, and I crashed, and then I don't think I did it again. But I used to get through like so much of that shit. Big up the guy I used to buy it from, by the way. Amazing fucking guy, legendary guy actually. If you know, you know in the scene. Back in the day, this guy must have beat up Mickey Blanco. I don't know if you guys, this is mad lore, but the guy used to buy my MDMA from, you know, names will not be discussed who that guy is, but if you know, you know, and you're a part of the scene. He was well known, and you know, just in the scene and shit. And me and him were really cool, and he used to always let me kind of buy it and go to his house. I should actually go to his house to go pick it up. And he'd fucking he'd have a bag full of it, like a whole crystal, and he'd break me off a bit and put it on the scale, sometimes give me a little bit extra. Super cool guy. But you know, you have to be a real fucking, imagine what level of a fucking junkie you have to be invited to the dealer's house to get your, I mean, like, you have to be, I was on some crazy shit. So I remember buying it off him a few times, and I remember him telling us a story, but later, you know, a couple of years later, telling us a story where I think Mickey Blanco was here touring or something, and I think, you know, he ended up at his house or at some afters, and Mickey Blanco, you know, love the guy, great creative artist, but can be a bit crazy. He got a bit crazy, and then some fight happened, and Mickey Blanco got beat up. I think he might post it. I think he might have spoke about it on social. I'm not sure if he did, but I remember my dealer beating up Mickey Blanco. But yeah, talking about beating up, by the way, one thing that doesn't happen enough, and this is something I'm gonna say blankly here. I'm all but certain if that's me, if that's a black guy, that guy's getting beaten up. That security guard that's there is beating you up, even though he's black. That's the one thing you get, white privilege. This guy's disturbing a rave. He probably damaged those decks, by the way, because those are the new Pioneer. Those are the new CDJs. Those are the ones that don't have any CD drive on them. I forgot what level they are. I think is it 2000 NX? I don't know what they are, but those are the Pioneer CDJs that don't have any CDJ drive. They have the bigger screen as well. The screen is bigger too. And if you know anything about CDJs, having used them a lot throughout my life and shit, and obviously using them now a lot when I go to pirate and shit, you would know CDJs are kind of fragile. They're not the most robust pieces of equipment. So most likely he has permanently broken some of those CDJs. I'm assuming they have to reset some of the platters and shit, recalibrate them. He has really damaged thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Some of it they might not even own. Some of it's been hired and shit. You're fucking up the day. You're fucking up the whole day for people that are watching the event, people that are playing. You fuck up the whole mood. This guy's a real nuisance. If anybody deserves to get beaten up right there and then, like, this is the type of thing where you beat somebody up in public and hope everybody watches to send a message, you know? It's kind of like that joke from that guy on that podcast. I forgot the guy. I may have included in the clip. There's some English podcast where some guy said that he kills flies in his house, but then when he kills flies, he lays them on the windowsill of his window. Like, he put their bodies there so that so other flies, that his boys, his mandems, can say, oh, look, if you come to this yard, you die. So they don't come into his house. He puts the dead bodies on the windowsill. So this is the type of thing that you need to send a message. You beat the brakes off of this guy, right, in front of everybody, so nobody gets this kind of idea again. But because he's white, he kind of gets away with it. I guarantee you, this kid was black, brown. He's getting his ass handed to him. And if not, I think in dance music anyway, the lack of threat, the whole safe space shit has created people that do this. People that take the piss, you know? People take the piss and think this sort of stuff is acceptable. It's not acceptable. Like, behave yourself, bro. Like, there's nothing worse, I think, in my life, I think in life in general, than somebody that can't handle their drugs. If you're gonna do your drugs, if you're gonna do your gear, if you're gonna get on it, handle it like a fucking adult. Don't be in this type of situation. You're a fucking grown up, and you're jumping up on the decks, disturbing everybody's day, getting tossed out outside, probably getting arrested, doing this, doing that. Like, what are you doing? Get yourself to fucking together. If you can't handle the gear, stay your ass at home. Don't do it. Grab yourself a fucking Club Mate or something and keep it moving. But don't be doing all this sort of nonsense. This guy's lucky that all these guys are cool and chill. But honestly, people need to get punched up more in raves. That's what I need to say. Especially in these techno raves, especially in the scene, whatever it may be, queer raves and shit, especially queer raves, LGBTQ ones. If somebody comes up and is on some homophobic thing, transphobic thing, people need to get punched up and stomped out. None of this, oh, let's get the police involved, let's fucking make kindness and teach people a lesson. No. If you're trying to create a safe space, you have to make sure whoever disturbs that safe space, once again, I don't believe safe space exists, but if you're going to create a safe space, whoever disturbs the safe space, you should beat the flipping brakes off of them. That's what I think you should do. But what do I know? I'm just a little boy in a little world. But big up that guy. There's actually another angle of him doing the same thing. Look at the alternate angle. Look at the alternative angle here. Look at this other angle here. Fucking psycho guy. By the way, like I said before, right? If you can't see the video, this is in a warehouse space somewhere in America. But look at where the stage is. Look at the stage. Look at the crowd. That's them down the left-hand side behind the barricades there, right? Now look at this distance between that and the decks. This guy had to jump over the barricades, then clear this little area in front of the decks, which is usually a place where security kind of like look to make sure nobody's kind of jumping over or crushing the barricade, or if they spot anybody fainting, they can kind of help them. And then you got to jump up over this onto the stage, like, and he didn't get caught. Oh my, honestly, this security stuff. But these same security at these places will fucking stick a finger up your ass to try and find a pill or a fucking half gram of a ket, but they'll let this guy jump over probably 2 barricades and the stage to fucking disturb the whole set. Nonsense. Useless. By the way, I like that it's actually a thong. I love that it's not like a thing. It's not like a waste. It's not like a coin pouch. You know, some people when they go raving, like, I think if you're that person, I think you should. I think if you're the type of person that wears one of those like chest coin purses thing, you're the same type of person that goes on holiday to Barcelona and carries your backpack in front of you like you're pregnant, like a tourist, like some fucking dork. That's some dork behavior. Put your shit in your pockets, look after yourself and watch what you do and be mindful. Keep everything in your wallet, front pocket. Don't be fucking dumb. No, if someone pickpockets you in your front pocket, then you're not being aware enough. But don't, for any reason, carry your belongings in some fucking chest rig that you put, like, don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. That's fucking lame. But you could think that was what he was having. But it's not. He's actually got a legit thong on. It's fucking hilarious. He's got his little thong on, his little jock strap, and he's doing this type of madness. Mad, mad, mad. But then if I go to a rave and I'm not, imagine if I go pull up at some techno rave in Fold, if I'm wearing a tracksuit, if I'm wearing a Nike tech suit, I don't even know. I'm not even too sure. Maybe I'll test this. I'm not too sure if I went to a fucking Fold with a tech suit on, or to some of these fucking LGBTQ events with a Nike tech suit fleece, whatever, if they'd let me in. You know that. But if I go in dressed like this, I can get in, but I'm also the same person that'll do this. Nonsense, isn't it? I don't know. Like I said, I think if that was me, or if that was anybody that looked like me, or if that was a brown colored person, I think you're gonna get fucked up. You're honestly gonna get fucked up. Legitimately gonna get fucked up. But if you're a fucking whitey, it's all good. You know what I mean? You get away with some stuff if you're Caucasian. We have black privilege, you have white privilege. You know, it goes both ways. I guess it goes both ways. But yeah, this is fucking lovely. This is fucking lovely. Be at the person that posted it, called Apex Raves, on social media. Check them out. Check them out. Check them out. Talking about DJs, have you guys seen this? Talking about DJs, have you guys seen this? I need to see more of this. I need to see more of this, because I remember there was once a time, big up my girl Chloe D's, when my friend Chloe D's asked me for some, you know, suggestions, help, whatever advice when it came to DJing and what she was doing. And I remember telling her to like embrace and to use and to make the most of her assets, right? And if you know, judging by the name Chloe D, you can guess what her assets were. But I also was like to her, it's a slippery slope. You also have to be aware, if you kind of put those out there as that's your main calling card, then people are sometimes not going to maybe take you as seriously. And maybe it's going to be hard for you to be seen in a certain light with certain people. It's just the way it is. It's unfair, I know, but just the way it is. Like, you're going to have to, maybe it's a good way to get your foot in the door, but maybe think about pivoting away from that. You know, if you're going to, like, maybe the advice would be like, if you're going to go into DJing, you're going to be overtly sexual, maybe try and pivot away from it as you get your foot in the door, just so you can kind of have some sort of longevity in your career. Now, that also depends on what you're in it for. If you're in it for longevity, do it. If you're just in it for a bag, or you just want to get your followers up, or you just want to get in contact with certain people, or you're using it as a foot, like some people use those type of things like DJing, especially if you're a woman, as a foot in the door to do other things. Maybe you use DJing as a way to maybe become an artist. Maybe you use DJing as a way to become a DJ. Maybe you use DJing as a way to maybe start a band or something. I don't know, whatever. You can do whatever you want. But I think I was wrong. I think you just need to go for it anyway. Just live yours, because most likely nowadays, with the world being as fragmented as it is, with the internet being as fragmented as it is, you're going to find people that are going to be perfectly okay with supporting with and championing a DJ that just bends over with a bikini or whatever on, right? Wearing a balaclava and just twerking while they play the whole entire time. There's going to be somebody who's going to be willing to pay you good money and be a big fan of yours if you're the DJ that just DJs topless or whatever. So maybe just lean into it and find your audience of people that are going to care about you. The ones that don't would never care about you anyway. So just find your audience, because this is fucking incredible. Look at this clip.
Baby, when I pull up, bitch, you're the my jeans. Make you love the pump, baby, lick like ice cream. Make bad ways, if I shake your panties. Come to put your banting, or with your benzine. Yell and your record, tell I go make you sing. Now she the bread, I go for my sing. I got the only one that can make you come swing.
Honestly, why not, bro? Why not? Why not? Especially if you can play. If you can do this sort of stuff that this lady's doing, where she's twerking to the song that she's playing, and you can actually DJ for real, like, that is a hack. And I'm not gonna lie, when you go to, you know, maybe that's some of the reasons why I'm becoming a little bit like clubbing fatigue or something. Raves are all the same, really. Let's be honest. Raves are all the same. You know, it's just a person playing up there. It's not that really impressive, really. Even to be a DJ, it's not that impressive skill, really, to be honest. But if you're gonna make it worth my while, make it worth my while, bro. Perform. Do something, you know, make me want to go, you know, and maybe if I'm into this sort of stuff, I'm gonna go, you know, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna be sat right in front of that barricade, just watching, just observing, just fucking honoring the gift that you've been given and celebrating it along with other people there. Maybe a bit of gooning might be involved, right? God bless the fucking cleanup crew afterwards, because that whole front row is gonna be full of fucking splurge, but you know, at least we're all having fun. At least she's having fun also. That's what you do nowadays. Like the whole idea about, oh, you're coming into it and you're being overly sexual. Like, who cares, bro? Bonnie Blue's out here fucking 1,000 men in a day. And she's bigger than, more famous than ever. Find your community. Find your people. And that's all well and good. Like, needing to conform for others is just long. And if you can find your audience who like this sort of stuff and they can support you, then why the hell not? Why the hell not? There should never be a point where, if anything, you should be using this sort of thing, like this little girl's doing, and just using it as a way to be taken seriously. You shouldn't be trying to say, oh, there shouldn't be a place where she has to get to a point where she takes off the balaclava, puts on a pencil skirt, and is like, now I'm serious. Or, you know what I mean? Oh, no. You should force people to take you seriously because you take yourself seriously. You just present yourself a different way. Because everybody does some things different to get their attention, right? You want to gather the attention of people. You want people to get involved in what you're doing. You do things a different way. Simple as that. So I'm all for this. Big up this girl, wherever you are. I appreciate you. What's her name? I think her name is DJ Dimple Nipple. Appropriate name, by the way. If you want to find her on Instagram, her name is DJ Dimple Nipple. All the man them, all the girl them in the stream chat. If you want to see that, you know where to go. DJ Dimple Nipple. No, I did not stutter. No, I did not stutter. Big up DJ Dimple Nipple. What an absolute G. What an absolute blood clot G. Talking about being a blood clot G, can we talk slyly, simply about this little clip from Sneako featuring Kanye before we leave? This clip is one of my favorite vlog bits to come out of this whole thing that Sneako's doing. So Sneako's working with Ye at the moment. He's essentially his in-house videographer, vlogger, streamer guy, and he's working hand in hand with producing these, because before Sneako met Ye, Sneako was doing these like daily vlogs which are fucking incredible. Like, Sneako's a bit of a weapon, and he went, you know, he kind of has these weird reinventions every 2 years or something, where suddenly he's this guy, then he's that guy, then he's this guy. But nothing can deny that from the start, he's always been a really good content creator. From the first time he picked up a camera and started to record on YouTube, he's always been really good at YouTube, really good at creating videos. But unfortunately, he went down the whole red pill, you know, manosphere stuff, and he got a little bit whatever. But now he's obviously coming back, you know, into the creative thing, just putting out great work. It doesn't really matter what his political beliefs are. You just put out great creative work. People don't really give a fuck. So now he's putting out great work, and I guess that got him maybe in the, you know, in the sights of fucking Ye. I think they worked before with each other, but now they're working again properly. And now he's producing some of these videos for Ye. So I think he stopped doing the daily vlogs, but he's working a lot with Ye. We're doing these live streams with digital arts, So these videos, I don't know if he's putting them out every day or every other day, but they're really well done. This one's titled A Meeting. This video is incredible because it's Ye speaking to this guy who I'm guessing is some sort of like, he's some sort of like growth hacking record sales guy. You know, people who are like, who know how to like game the system when it comes to first week sales. who know how to like buy bots and shit, all that malarkey, right? It's, you know, what's happening with the whole Drake v Kendrick stuff. So Ye has a meeting with this person in the run up to him releasing Bully. His album's going to be coming out soon, and trying to, you know, workshop some ideas as to how to kind of approach that whole rollout. And how he thinks about things is why he's a genius and why he's a creative genius, and why people like myself are so obsessed with him, even though he goes on these weird tangents and he starts hating the Jews and loving Hitler and shit. You just have to kind of put that to one side and just focus on the guy that you kind of fell in love with, with just creative fucking force and shit, because he questions, you know, the perceived reality. And this is how you get to interesting answers. Now, he probably won't be as successful in the answers that he wants to get, because I think unfortunately the music business isn't siloed like maybe streaming is or content creation. Like I can kind of be the biggest thing since sliced bread in my own little niche, own little box. But I could also be the biggest thing since sliced bread across the board, just doing my own thing. Whereas in music, it's collaborative. You kind of have to work with people. You have to kind of be signed to certain labels to get certain looks. You have to be signed to it's all this big, it's weird, the music industry. So I don't think he's going to actually fulfill his goals, but I just love how he, like, it's like when you're in school, when the teacher's like, oh, show me your fucking thinking, right? It's not about the answer. Show me your work. How did you get here? The how you got there is actually more important than the answer. And I think that's what he's going to get from this. This video, this clip is so fucking good. So let me play this video for you. It's called The Meeting, courtesy of Sneako, featuring Ye, speaking openly about how he's going to approach Bully and how he's going to launch. Fucking great.
Bully is coming out on, the Bully album is coming out on June 15th. Yeah.
Have you done any BBC stuff, vinyls, fan packs, bundles, CDs, any of that? No, yet?
We sold vinyl though. We just haven't made the vinyl yet.
Okay, so you put it out on your website and you started selling.
Yeah, but that shit's like 30,000 units or something like that.
First thing, we use this thing.
By the way, I found out only for this video that, well, I knew before, but I kind of was reminded of it. This whole vinyl bundle thing people are doing is to boost your first week sales. That's all it is. It's not really because they care about vinyl. It's to boost your first week sales. And some artists, I don't know how they get around to doing this, are buying their own vinyls. So it's a way of, it's almost like you're buying, it's almost like you're buying ads, right? It's like an ad spend. It's like what you do if you're going to boost your posts on social media. So I guess instead of spending 30,000 on Instagram ads, they're spending 30,000 to just buy their entire inventory of their fucking vinyl and maybe have 100 available to purchase, and then they all sell out and it's like sold out. Yeah, sure.
We were at Sneako there 2-3 years ago, right? Did you see anybody?
So if we could just buy them, and so is Morgan buying his stuff?
And when he's talking about Morgan, he means Morgan Wallen, the #1 country music singer guy.
This is right. 2-3 years ago, did you see everyone start selling the CDs and vinyls out of nowhere?
Yeah. But how do I beat the game? This is how it's the CD.
So the guy is trying to tell him, basically the guy's trying to point to the direction of like, do you see everybody else selling vinyls selling every 2-3 years ago? I'm the reason, you know? So he's trying to brag a little bit to demonstrate, look, I can do this. I know what I'm doing. I'm the person people go to, right? I'm the plug. And Ye's like, he knows what he's trying to get to. He's like, yeah, I get that, but like, I don't want to just play the game. I want to beat the game. So I'm not interested in just doing what everyone else is doing. Just selling bundles of vinyl to boost my first week sales so I could appear, so I could be the #1 album of that week or whatever, couple of weeks. That might help me with certain brand deals. That might help with my perception. That might help with how the history books will remember me, my ego, my pride. No, I want to beat the game. How do I do that? Thinking outside of the box.
But you don't beat the game by buying it.
Beat the game by the cost of
What I think what I should do is do the opposite. Like you brought this an idea, and I'm like, let's do the opposite idea. What I want to do is just put my shit up and be like, okay, Ye sells 6,000 copies, whatever the fuck it is. You know, I don't want to sell shit. I want to do what Morgan Wallen has. I do it's like you say perception is reality. If I wanna buy into that.
Exactly. Perception is reality, but reality is your perception. You can perceive whatever you want, and whatever you want is what you perceive, and what you perceive is your reality. That's what essentially he's saying. Whatever everyone is doing right now, I want to do the opposite, which is probably why he took all his music off DSPs. Everyone's putting their stuff on DSPs and don't have any full ownership on it. I'm going to take my stuff off DSPs. It's really unfortunate that deal he did with that music player for company I've got this mate, that didn't work out. Because that thing was really cool. I think they fell out because of Ye's Jew comments and shit, if I'm not mistaken. But that would have been a really cool way to kind of get people to have because I think there was one that actually had movies on it too. Did it come out? I'm not sure it did come out. But that same company that did that music player that Ye was going to be collaborating with also made this movie player thing that was like a pebble, like a big pebble shape, and it had built-in. He had like pre-installed 1,000 of the best movies ever, according to like IMDb, and they had like a projector that you could project onto the wall and play it. Like fucking cool, man! Just taking people away from their laptops, taking away people from their screens. You can plug in play, or the music player where you could just have an album on there. Maybe it comes ready with the album. I'm not sure how you download more, whatever, but just taking away from listening to music via your fucking albums. You know, like it's incredible. I love this sort of shit. I love it. And thinking about doing things the opposite way. Everyone's doing this vinyl this way. Why don't I do something the opposite way? How am I going to approach that? I fucking love that way of thinking.
Like, who all wants to buy into that? Because once I start shifting stuff, start shifting. Right now, all musicians are being taken advantage of, and no one can do anything about it. And no musician likes the situation. Everyone knows that it's rigged. Everyone knows that it's unfair, and people are too afraid to put their music out without paying for the sales because they're too afraid of being embarrassed in front of their fans and their peers and their family and the world.
Which is kind of weird, isn't it? It's kind of weird and kind of odd, but that is probably true. How many artists now how we not get, like, on a lower level, not lower, but on a level that I don't really care about? Cardi B is a good example. Cardi B hasn't dropped her second album because she's afraid that she won't do the same numbers that she did when she first dropped that first album, right? Invasion of Privacy or something, right? That album that fucking slapped and took her from like nobody to somebody in a matter of fucking minutes, right? That album was classic and probably didn't deserve to win a Grammy, I don't think, but still she fucking killed it. And she's so afraid of dropping that second one, we haven't got anything. I think it might be 10 years or something since that first one dropped. How many more artists like that are out there are like that? Worried about first week numbers, so that's why they're not dropping, or they're waiting for the perfect time, but the perfect time never comes up because people are always dropping music. There's an untold number of people out there, artist wise. You have to just drop whenever you can drop. So if you did remove the fear of the numbers, maybe that would encourage people to create and produce or distribute or ship stuff more often, because numbers weren't the sole be all and end all, which again you have to thank DJ Academics for. That's one of the legacies he's gonna leave behind that's really fucking bad for music, is the fact that people care way too much about first week sales. And it's not even his fault, really, to be fair to Academics. People just talk about that anyway because it's more interesting people to talk about that than talk about music, because people don't really have maybe an understanding as to why they like what they like. They don't have to articulate it. I don't know what it is, but people would much rather speak about who one artist is fucking, who one artist isn't fucking, their religious beliefs, their this, their that, than to actually just talk about the merits of their artistry, their fucking debut album, their final album, the hook on this song, the bridge on that song, the production on this, on that. No one talks about that anymore. So that's why a lot of these artists are probably scared about putting stuff out, because they know no matter how good it is, if Academics posts that you sold 700 copies first week, no one's gonna listen to it. you know no one's gonna listen to it. Like, people maybe partly listen to albums because of the hype. If they see that someone's listened to it, if they see that certain artists got 70k first week, they'll be like, who's this? I'm gonna check them out. If they see a certain artist got 300k first week, they're gonna check it out. But if they hear you got 200k, or 200, sorry, or you sold 20, they're not gonna check it out, which is really, really sad.
So it's like we're being bullied. It's like embarrassment culture. So I think the idea of bullying, to become a new bully, to be the school shooter to the bullies.
Okay, I guess that's where you lose me a little bit here.
is so what is that? Because you came here, Tazs is gonna be like, yay, you know, just because if that's the case, you know, what's the limit then? It's this weird thing too. It's like they know, it's like how they do street rappers, right? It's like, oh, we know that you're rapping about killing people. We know that you killed a couple people. We're documenting that, and we'll lock you up, but we need the J. Cole record from you first. And then after that, you done for life. Type shit.
That's really a bad example. He's just trying to diss J. Cole for no reason. I think what he's trying to say about the whole street rapper thing is more so you get signed off the basis of your street rap, essentially. If you're a street rapper, if you're a drill rapper that's been putting in work, you've been stepping off the porch, you've been doing fucking ride outs, you've been doing fucking drilling, right? You've been actually putting numbers up in terms of, you know, taking out your fucking ops and whatever it may be on the scoreboard. You are known, you're a certified shooter, whatever it may be, world. That's going to amplify your music. And that's going to get the attention of the record labels because they can see it's coming from a real place. So even though they're not going to do their Googles and research it properly, they can get a feeling, they can see by the comments, by the attention that you're getting that, yeah, this person comes from a real place, they've done real things, they've seen real things. They sign you. Cool. Then you crash out. You pistol whip a girl, God forbid, in the fucking nightclub. Right? You chase some guy down the street with a fucking loaded firearm, right? You whatever, get into a skirmish at a fucking Wendy's. Just normal drill rapper stuff, right? You grew up in a broken home. You live in a rough place, and you know violence is the only thing you know, right? This is what you know. This is your life, and then suddenly you go to prison, and guess what? The same people that signed you are the same people to throw their hands up and kind of wash their hands of you. They won't even probably help you with legal counsel. You know, they probably won't even help you with legal counsel. They won't put any money in your books. Yet they signed you off the basis of the work you did on the streets that added to the legitimacy of your music. But then when you start doing the shit that you rap about, suddenly they start clutching their pearls. They start fucking clutching their pearls. Music industry is horrible.
Well, same kind of mentality behind this whole, you know, buying the records. Everyone's doing it, right? But what if I go and say, you know, I'm a billionaire. I'm gonna sell 10 million the first week. I'm gonna buy the amount that would be, what is that? Is that $100 million?
That's $7.99 as the minimum.
It's if they were $10.
A lot, yeah, a lot.
No, what would be if it was $10 and I want to sell 10 million the first week?
My maths isn't good either, bro. My maths isn't good. I partly got let go from my previous job because of my lack of mathematics, which I famously spoken about. But even I know what fucking 10 million times 100,000 is. And this guy has to take out his calculator, by the way. It's fucking incredible. This is a great little moment. But even I would know what 10 times 100,000 is. But hey, let him take out his calculator.
No, if it was 10. Right, so say every time I say, look, I'm gonna drop 100 million, I'm gonna do Backstreet Boys numbers. The people that are saying to do it would say, no, you can't do that. Yeah. See, and now that's why I live this man.
But I don't think he can, though. That's the problem. I think all that anti-Semitic shit, like, I don't think he meant that apology even. There's an apology he put out recently. I don't really think he meant it personally, but he did say, I'm not on no anti-Semitic shit. I'm sorry for my Jews. I love everybody. And I think he ended it by saying that he got on FaceTime with these kids. So I guess he got on FaceTime with all his kids, maybe with Saint as well, who allegedly he hasn't seen in a while. And now the world is good, like he's been healed because he's got in touch with his kids and he's speaking to them again. I guess Kim is maybe allowed to see his kids again, blah, 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 blah. So he's in good spirits. But I think those type of numbers, Backstreet Boys numbers, you need the machine. You need allies. You need colleagues. You need people to be down with you. Like, it's kind of similar to like the shit happened with fucking, what's his name, 6ix9ine, which I still don't like. I'm not going to lie. Yes, I know he snitched and it was horrible. I still despise the fact that he got let out of prison early, despite him putting an actual hit out on fucking Chief Keef. And the guy he sent out to kind of do the shooting is still in prison now, I think, or got a long sentence. Regardless, it's just fucking crazy that you can put out a hit on somebody, legitimately put out a contract, you know, put a bounty on their head, and then you still get out of prison and everything's fucking hunky-dory. So pretty horrible. But I didn't like how the industry were playing playing street politic games or trying to get involved in like gang business and shit. I hated that. When the industry decided we're not going to push 6ix9ine anymore. 6ix9ine is like no good. 6ix9ine is bad food. I didn't understand that. But you could see that it did stop him. It's fucked up his career entirely. I don't even think it's to do with his attitude. I think there's plenty of artists in the industry who have terrible attitudes. Lizzo being a good example, right? We've all seen Lizzo as a bit of a pain in the ass. She's not probably the nicest person to be able to hang out with. She seems like a pain in the ass. But people put up with you. So you could see the industry colluded to stop 6ix9ine from ever becoming successful again. They didn't want him to prove them wrong. So they stopped him and it worked. With Ye and the amount of vitriolic, horrible things he's said over the years lately that he's double, triple down, quadruple down on, which is his right, do what you want. I don't think he's ever going to be in the position to do those numbers. Now, if he did go and make peace with people, actually apologize for real, started to collaborate with people, started to do that whole industry ass-kissing thing, started to do shows again, invited certain people to these shows. Like, you know, it went back to how it was when he was doing those Yeezy shows and it seemed like the whole industry was there, begging for a ticket, begging to be stood next to him and shit. That's when he could do those Backstreet numbers. But I think you can't game the music industry like that. You could probably game the fucking streaming industry, content industry, because it's like it's like a siloed thing. But I think the music industry, that's how they kind of perpetuate the scam. That's how people keep constantly getting fucking hoodwinked, because it's relying on so many different people. You kind of have to relinquish some control, like depending on what level you want to get at. He's talking about Backstreet Boys numbers. If you just want to be a working musician, I don't think you need to play the game. You just do your own thing, have your own fans, build it up, whatever. Plenty of people have done that. You've seen it. But if you want to be like a Taylor Swift person, like Backstreet person, numbers you're talking about, if you want to be a Morgan Wallen, you have to get along with people. You have to be likable. People have to just like you. And I don't think a lot of people like Ye right now. So I don't think this is possible, personally. But I like the fact that he's thinking this way. That's the main thing. The guy came up to him and said, hey, let's do vinyl bundles. Let's do this, boost the numbers. You become the biggest things to slice bread. The perception could be your reality. But Ye's like, no, let's do the opposite. Everyone's doing this for this. Let me do the opposite for another reason.
You're supposed to use every piece of skill set that's been given in you and use this platform that I have, these eyeballs that I have, and shift it to something that's better so we can get Lauryn Hill making an album. Because right now she's like, I am not making it. Lauryn Hill not having this either. You know what I'm saying? And Lauryn Hill will make another album, new music. We have to think about it like this. We used to think about it like, okay, I want to make an album where I can win a Grammy. Now the idea has to be, I want to make an album. No, I want to take the fact that I'm in the system to make a system that Lauryn Hill will feel comfortable making music in. That was a good one. We should probably put.
That's actually a noble effort indeed. I'm not too sure if Lauryn Hill, I don't know, if the thinking is Lauryn Hill isn't making music anymore because the industry is broken, I don't think that's true. I just think she doesn't need to, innit? Or she's maybe a bit lazy. I don't buy this whole like, oh, the industry is so fucked up, I don't want to make music and put it out there because I'm going to get, fuck. You're Lauryn Hill. You can dictate your terms. Like, you can dictate, if she's in a bad deal, she's such a star now, she could likely dictate her terms, she could likely get out of her contract, she could likely, if she can't get out of her contract, she could likely fucking raise the money between certain billionaires and stuff to get out of her contract and buy it out. There's things that can be done. For the top people, there are always adjustments that can be made. But I do like that. That's his like main modus operandi. That's his goal of like trying to make an album that would capture, would maybe inspire Lauryn Hill to make music, you know? That's actually pretty cool. Maybe not put an album, maybe inspire to make music. But I just love the fact that he thought about it the opposite way, you know? Everyone's doing this whole vinyl thing. Let's think about it the opposite way. Maybe let's not do vinyl, you know? Maybe let's prove that the music industry is false by actually counting the streams a different way. Let's do it a different way, but maybe even how we drop the album, when we drop the album. Maybe it's not on a Friday, maybe it's not on a Monday, maybe it's on a Sunday, whatever. I just love how he's thinking about it all in a different fucking way, and it's really doing it interesting. And even just I think about the album drops, like, you know, doing these shows in different cities and stuff, and these album listening sessions and stuff in stadiums and like in concert halls and shit, like just playing the music off of a phone through an aux cable, like. Honestly, ahead of his time, literally ahead of his time. Big up fucking Ye. Again, is this gonna last? Is he gonna go back to being, you know, fucking Heil Hitler shit. I don't know. But for now, what we're getting so far, I like what I'm seeing. I'm seeing what I like. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that he sticks with this. And this isn't just some like one-off thing. I'm really hoping it's not a one-off thing. Anyway, to end the show, let's talk a little bit about Ruben Amorim. The season ended the other day. United beat fucking Aston Villa 2-0 at home, final game of the season. It was a pretty competitive game still because Villa, if they won, could have secured Champions League football. Guaranteed. Aston Villa, if they would have won, they could have secured Champions League football guaranteed, and they didn't. So there was a lot on this game. But again, our players are fucking annoying. Villa are a much better side than Spurs. We beat them at home 2-0. These same players who shit the bed against Spurs the other day in the Europa League suddenly turn out a performance like this and win 2-0 against fucking Villa at home. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy we didn't win the Europa League. I think the Europa League would have papered over too many cracks. I think this fan base of ours that's obsessed with trophies would have been under the impression that this team isn't that bad and doesn't need as much surgery or work than it does, when it actually does need complete gutting out of certain players. We need to sign probably a minimum, I'd say, of 6 first team players. I'd go as far as saying 8 to kind of get this team where it needs to be. So I think the fact that we didn't win the Europa League is a good thing. And the fact that we won this last game at the end, which didn't mean much to us, but meant a lot to fucking Villa, is also maybe a good thing because it kind of shows up that these players can turn it on and off when they want to, you know? Because Villa are a far better side than fucking Spurs. You could tell by the league table just how they play. But maybe Villa were unlucky to lose this game. They got a sending off. Emi Martinez allegedly was linked to United, by the way. People were seeing this as some sort of audition. And he did what Emi Martinez does, hot-headed moment. Don't know why he came out and rushed and barged Højlund like that. Højlund is in poor form. He's not confident. I don't think there's a chance he even scores that. I'm not going to lie. Højlund is playing so badly right now and he's in such low confidence. However far left he took that. If it's a striker that's on form, I think they score. But Højlund is in such poor form. That first touch that he did that went a bit out onto the left, I don't think he gets to cut it. I don't think he hits it first time into the goal. I don't think so. But, you know, Emi Martinez barged him, obviously last man, and he got sent off. Although he could be a little bit unlucky because Pau Torres was in line. He probably might have got back to Højlund, but still they sent him off. And then I think Villa were unlucky not to get a red card of themselves because out here Bayinda decided to come out of his goal and touch the pass back from a player with his hands that the goalkeeper did, that the fucking referee didn't see, and then they blew the whistle. I don't know, nonsense. Regardless, we won 2-0. The thing that was the most interesting part about the thing, I don't care about the goals, fuck off everybody, don't give a fuck, waste of time. The thing that was interesting was the speech at the end by Ruben Amorim. The speech at the end. It made me think, right? As exciting as it may be for him next season, when he gets his own players, he's going to get rid of a ton of players. I think there's a TikTok going viral now of this Sporting Lisbon fan who obviously knows a lot about Ruben Amorim and his time over there in Portugal, who basically said a lot of United fans need to be patient and chill. Ruben Amorim's a guy, when he was at Sporting, after his first season, he got rid of like 17 plus players. And then immediately, you know, Sporting Lisbon decided to win loads of games. I think they didn't lose a game and they won the league and shit. So he needs to get rid of a lot of players to start his own revolution. You're going to see it soon. So don't see this 15th position that we ended at as where we're going to end up. But I would say next season is going to be a really tricky time for Ruben Amorim. It might be the most scariest for him because he has to start that next season off like a house on fire. We can't have a string of games where we're losing, where we're not scoring goals. Like this next season is actually he's under way more pressure next season than he was taking over Erik ten Hag when we were at 8th. He's under way more pressure because this season was so bad that if he starts off badly next season, it's going to be peak, especially if they sign all the players that they're meant to sign. Already, we've already allegedly signed Matheus Cunha from fucking Wolves. We've been linked to Mbeumo from Brentford. We're linked to Liam Delap from fucking, what's his name? From Ipswich. We're linked with Mateta, I think, with Crystal Palace. I've heard Eze rumours. A bunch of players, right? We've linked to a bunch of people coming up. I've heard of a goalkeeper who wants to replace. Garnacho's meant to be sold. Sancho might be coming back. Rashford's probably going to get sold. So there's a bunch of innocent Out isn't in as it isn't out. Is Christian Eriksen announced he's leaving? John Evans is going. Lindelof is probably going to. A bunch of players are leaving. So he's probably gonna get his choice of his team. And I saw a stat the other day that said this is the first season coming up where there won't be a single player in the United squad that played under Sir Alex Ferguson. That's kind of scary, right? That kind of shows you how slow we are in letting go of players, in transitioning squads. This season coming up, the 26 or 26? No, the 25 to 26 season, sorry. The 25 to 26 season coming up next season will be the first season that there won't be a single player who played under Sir Alex Ferguson in that squad. I think the last one was Jony Evans of last season. But this is a speech that Amorim gave at the end of the game, which I thought was a really good speech. But it did kind of highlight just how far we are, just how high stakes the next season is. But I thought the speech was really good. Let's play the speech by Ruben Amorim at the end of the game where United beat Aston Villa 2-0 at the end.
First of all, I want to apologize for this season. And really disappointed with the team. Second thing, I want to say thank you. We are very grateful for your support during the season. Us in many games, but now we have to make it.
I love how the players are. Look at Luke Shaw pretend to be sad. I love the players that pretend to be sad. They don't give a fuck, bro. You get paid regardless. These motherfuckers like Luke Shaw have been stealing a living for years. Luke Shaw, nearly a decade of stealing a living. He played the Europa League final, by the way, the other day, right? He's hardly played the season. Somehow got injured again before the last game of the season, so he couldn't play. That's how they're saying. I'm not sure if he got dropped, but he started a Europa League final, which he had no business starting. He was fucking terrible. And then he got injured before the last game of the season. Typical Luke Shaw. Look at them all looking all sad. Fuck off.
Choice. Or we stay stuck in the past because this season is in the past, is over. We fight each other. Or we stick together and move forward.
One of the things I've actually enjoyed about this prolonged period of United horribleness over the past decade has been how many idiot United fans you kind of discover. You know, it's actually been quite good. I think it's weeded out a lot of the glory hunters. A lot of the glory hunters that were only supporting United because we won trophies have kind of weeded away. They also support City now. They're watching a lot of Arsenal. They're watching Chelsea. They're Real Madrid fans. There's nothing worse. People always give me a hard time for being a London United fan. There's nothing worse than a fan of Real Madrid or Barcelona who live fucking in East London, who live in South London, who live in North. Give your head a wobble. But those people exist, right? Those people that wear fucking half and half jerseys. Those people that have tattoos like Central C of like QPR or Crystal Palace on their chest, but then they wear Chelsea gear or they treat jerseys like NBA jerseys. Nah, we're the UK. We're football. It's different. It's not basketball. You don't wear other teams' jerseys if you don't fucking support them. You know what I mean? You don't do that. But I actually like that we've been shit for this long, especially post-SAF, because it's actually exposed United fans who don't know football, who do know football, the ones who have agendas, the fucking top reds who don't see anything wrong and just think everything's in cycles and you just have to wait your turn and all this sort of fucking nonsense, right? The fucking bootlickers who love the Glazers, the fucking managers, the manager stands, the player stands, they've all been exposed during this period because everyone's been terrible. No one's been good. No one comes out of this unscathed, or as Brendan would say, unscathed. Everyone's been terrible. Ruben Amorim, terrible. You come from Sporting Lisbon, you've been pulling up trees there, putting up numbers, winning trophies. You take over from Eric Ten Hag, who everyone thinks is terrible, and they think you're the better manager than him. You take over from him at 8th, and we finish 15th. You're shit. I like Ruben Amorim. I like Ruben Amorim. But taking a team from 8th to 15th, shocking. The players, shocking across the board. Ineos came in, shocking across the board. Ineos hiring this fucking guy after Erik ten Hag, knowing that Erik ten Hag wanted certain players to be successful, then getting him, knowing that he also needs certain players to be successful, but then not buying him those players when you paid, 4 million euros, 9 million euros to get out of his contract at Sporting, but then you don't give him a big budget in the January transfer window to save the season? So why did you hire him then? Why did you take him out of his club mid-season if you don't want to save the season? Huh? So this prolonged period of shitness has exposed everyone. No one escapes the blame. Even Bruno Fernandes. He's been terrible for the majority of the season. He had a purple patch towards the end of it. Everyone's like sucking him off. What did he do at Europa League final? What did he do in that Europa League final, motherfuckers? The ones that are fucking wanking him up because of that assist for the Dallo goal, which was a good assist, don't get me wrong. But what did he do in that Europa League final when we needed him most? Jack shit. Not all his fault, but it just goes to show that everywhere across the board, all we get is Fs. All we get is Fs.
6 months ago, in my first 3 games in charge, with 2 victories and 1 draw, I said to you, the storm is coming.
I think he knew the real level of these players, and he knew. We knew too, by the way. Most United fans, myself included, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. I'm going to be I told you so person, no matter how annoying that is. I said for years, since post SAF, I said for years, some of our league positions have been false positions. One year, I think we finished second with Ollie in charge, by the way. Whoever you are in the league that was there beforehand, you let Ollie Solskjaer finish second in the league to you. Like, some of our league positions made no sense. If you watch United, if you're a fan of the club, you know we've been shit for time. But we were always saved because we have individual brilliance. We had players like fucking Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, no, Ronaldo towards the end. But we had Ibrahimovic's I can think of. The Rashford at his pomp, Martial at his pomp. Like, all these players that could literally change a game with a flick of a wrist, with a flick of a fucking foot. They could win you a game. Falcao, all these people, right? As soon as those players started to dry up, suddenly our league position starts to be reflective of who we actually are. We actually start to get a more realistic league position because we don't have match winners. We don't have saviors anymore. We have to rely on playing football as a team. And we don't have a lot of good footballers in this fucking squad. So that get exposed, or the good footballers don't get favoured by certain managers. Our league positions, in my opinion, have always been fake for the most part, especially post Sir Alex Ferguson. They've been just weird because of the timing. I know league positions are bread and butter, but I think this time we are lucky to escape relegation. We're just not as bad as Southampton, Ipswich, and the other team. We are lucky to escape relegation, but we are terrible. So to expect this same squad to suddenly finish in the top 6?
Today, after this disaster season, I want to tell you the good days are coming.
I like that, by the way. I'm not going to lie, that was a good line. I told you the storm was coming. After today, I'm telling you the good days are coming. Good encouragement. I like how the players are clapping, like as if some of them are going to be involved. Some of you won't be involved in those good times, fellas. Some of you in those tracksuits won't be involved in the good times, which I'm happy about.
If there is one club in the world that proved in the past that can overcome any situation, any disaster, is our club, is Manchester United Football Club.
Fucking hell. Inject that into my veins. I'm a fucking giddy fan like everybody else. I've just said what I've said. I've been the Dorm Lord. I've given you my black pill version of why I don't think things are going to get better. But I hear that and I get goosebumps. I get fucking goosebumps. And I think to myself, it could be possible. We could possibly turn it around. We could have one of the best compilations. We could have one of the best fucking videos of all time next season if we finish top 4 or win the league. Let's say we win the league next season. Unlikely, right? Let's say we win the league next season. Unlikely, I know. But let's say, because we're playing 1 game a week, we win the league next season. Could you imagine the compilation video of all our losses last season? A sizzle reel of all our disastrous performances, the Onana errors, the sendings offs, the fucking high number losses and shit, knocked out of this competition, that competition. Could you imagine all of that being juxtaposed, sorry, I'm getting giddy, with us lifting the trophy at the end of the season, of next season? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine one of the greatest turnarounds of all time, going from 15th to winning the fucking league, or taking it right to the end? Could you imagine if we go, imagine Arsenal win the league next season, but we take Arsenal right to the end? Imagine that.
Now I want to say sorry also to my players. Sometimes I was not fair, but I try always to be honest with you guys. Thank you very much.
Quick apologies to the players, but I love that.
See you next season.
Don't get me wrong. I think the tendency to him to speak all the time, I think is a bit unfair. I don't really blame Ruben Amorim for speaking and giving interviews. I know people have like tied up a man's interviews he's done is kind of crazy. But obviously it's United, we're a big club, one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest club in the world. So it's understandable why the media obligations would be plentiful. Plus Ruben Amorim looks like he's a yapper like me. Ruben Amorim looks like a yapper. Ruben Amorim looks like if you stopped him in a bar somewhere, he'd want to talk to you about football too. He loves to talk about football. He's obviously very well spoken too, even though, you know, English isn't his first language. He fucking loves yapping. So the fact that he's at the opposite of Ten Hag. Ten Hag like could barely speak, struggled to fucking speak the English language, struggled just to get his ideas across. Probably hated doing interviews of press. And Ruben Amorim is the complete opposite. So I understand why the club are pushing him out there. I just feel like sometimes it's a bit unfair that he always has to answer for things. You know, he always has to be the person that you're kind of shouting at or shouting to. When a lot of the reasons why we're at where we're at is to do with the managers, mostly to do with the board, mostly to do with the owners, or even in this case, you're saying the Glazers for sure. It's mostly their fault. It's definitely the Glazers' fault for why we're here. Fuck the Glazers. End the Glazers forever. Glazers out until the day I die. Hopefully they go before I die. But I do like the fact that he does front it and say the first thing that he says. I'm just hoping next season that these motherfuckers give him everything that needs to kind of be successful. Because if we go into next season signing, what's his name? Cunha and Rory Delap or something, and we think that's going to change things, you're in for a rude awakening. If you think Cunha and Delap are going to be the reason where we're going to go from 15th to fucking top 4, you are smoking the wildest shit, the spiciest shit. We need at least 6 players, at least 6. Will we get those 6? Who knows? And also the outgoings for me are more important than the incomings. I'm not going to lie. As a United fans, I think the outgoings are going to dictate a lot to where direction the club want to go. Like what happens to Luke Shaw? You know what I mean? What happens to Luke Shaw? What happens to Bruno Fernandes? If that offer comes in for the Saudi club for like north of 70 million, do you keep Bruno Fernandes anyway? Or do you sell him for 70 and buy 2 players for 70? That could probably do Bruno Fernandes' job. And they're younger. What do you do? You know? Those are the things that are going to really determine if we're successful or not. So let's see what's going on. But big up Blood Clot Ruben Amorim. Anyways, my friends, that's it. That's been the Action Zing Show episode number 907. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company as per usual. If it's your first time checking out the show via the podcast app, make sure you give me a 5-star review actually. If you listen via the podcast app, that's Spotify, Apple, everything else, apps you use. I use Overcast to listen to my podcast, but wherever you listen to audio-based podcasts, make sure you leave me a 5-star review if you can on those platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. I've seen a couple of new ones on the Apple side of things. Thank you for those of you who've left them. I've seen some also great reviews and ratings on Spotify too. Thank you for leaving them too. You guys are fucking legends and I appreciate you greatly. For those of you watching via the YouTube side of things, like the stream please. Leave me a comment down below if you're interested in stuff, and leave me a question if you have any comments down below. In the description of this video, in the description of the audio-based podcast, there's a link to email me. If you have any questions, feel free, and I'll respond back promptly as well. You can obviously get in touch with me via my socials. It should be found there at the top. You got my personal IG and also my DJ page ID. If you want to fucking contact me on there as well, feel free to do that. That is well appreciated too. Before we leave, I'm going to play you my tune of the day. My tune of the day is by the one and only Sixzino. Sixzino actually dropped a little EP album-y type thing I just dropped the other day called Speaker Baby. Really cool fucking cover. And one of my favorite tracks on this is Kate Moss. He actually dropped the official music video for it the other day. This is it there. This is the official music video of courtesy of his channel. Big up Sixzino. I have to say, like, I think I'm starting to like, as much as I like all those Skate Stars, what's his fucking name? Diorvi's You. There's a lot of these like new Atlanta kids who are fucking doing bits right now. I think I love the underground alt, whatever the scene is of hip hop in the UK more than I love the US. I think the UK guys are fucking killing it. I swear to God, I think the UK guys are fucking killing it. So big up Sixzino. So this is the track I'm going to play as my outro. It's called Kate Moss, courtesy of Sixzino. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Ekenstam Zing Show, episode number 907. If this is your first time tuning in, stay on here if you're watching via the live stream. This show will redirect to the random show, which I'm going to be starting in about 5 minutes. Random show in 5 minutes. But this is Sixzino, courtesy, it's Kate Moss, courtesy of Sixzino, from the album Speaker Baby that just dropped recently. Let's go.
I got really big. 2 shows. I went back to school, I ain't none. I'm out of line. I feel out of line. You said constant lights. How am I mind? Now I'm feeling alright. It was late night. Feel like a zombie until 5. I got home on trying to live. They cussing on same time. They call me a little emo. Came with stars and spice. You the push with kick. Most waste been doing that life. They wanna put shows in. Put again sometimes. I'll put a spot on. I ain't bite. Just get back now. Alright. I'm sitting down the other night. Yes, I keep it. I ain't pill pumping. Do I look like I wanna die? I was searching around trying to feel something. Cause we all only go on life. Shout Mayday. We're gonna spoil some Mayday. Feeling a little cray-cray. Touch up, coming for a cray-cray. I was jumping. I jump like the shot. Said shout out to Megan. Yeah. It might be a new day, but every day is really payday. I'm out of line. I feel out of line. You said constant lights. How am I mind? Now I'm feeling alright. It was late night. Feel like a zombie until 5. I got home on trying to live. They cussing on same time. They call me a little emo. Came with stars and spice. You the push with kick. Most waste been doing that life.